Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Risen Champs League week number 2. Aqualix Esports up against the Humber Hawks for our game number 1. Both teams looking to get that first win here in Season 8. And well, off the bat, directed camera's taking us right down to the bot lane as we are going to have an invade very early on, it looks like.
I feel like it's going to be able to step out, see this one. The bubble comes through level 1, though.
Flashes over the wall. He's not out of harm's way here. He is a dead Aphelios. It's just going to be who collects this kill. They're going to give it to the mid laner here. He lands the bubble. He collects the 400 gold.
Wow, not only the flash burnt during that, but also dying anyway. Leash off spawn, I'm guessing, thought if he goes over the pit, they weren't going to be able to spot him, but it looked like Nictish was able to see him go over the pit and, prevent him from getting away in that regard. So nice little play. No summoners burnt either from the side of Hummer on that one. So great first play, getting that Zoe ahead.
Yeah, a little bit of a panic flash almost there. Maybe have to think. So leash off spawn, not going to have that flash. Gives over a kill towards the mid laner, I'm sure. But if you're not happy about that on this Victor, he's going to have to scale, get some of these hex core items before he's really going to be effective and is able to kind of match the wave clear here of this Zoe. But either way here, Forest Jungle is going to be starting on the opposite sides of the map, watching and keeping our eyes on towards the Italy. She's probably the one that's going to be the proactive one in towards the early stages of the game, as already another bubble going to land 2 for 2 here this far. Zoe off to a great start.
Yeah, great start, of course, for Matruez. I'm interested to see Aesthetic. He's going to start on this red buff, and he's going to go over the wall. So he's going to go to vertical jungling here. That's nice because he avoided the ward that would have spotted him out going for that raptor pit. So it's nice that he's able to avoid that one. They haven't pinged him out quite yet. So that Krug camp being taken by Sejuani means she's going to be punished, and likely a triple buff here for the Nidalee early on. It's a great way to set the pace for the game.
Great way to set things up here for us. Bot lane fighting for that level 2. Watching this Thresh here very carefully as he's going to be able to start looking for these hooks, fishing for them. No flash again. Black Shield going to have to be on point here from Fly for at least the next couple minutes, as there it is. The zoning now coming out. Thresh playing aggressively. Going to have to wait for that wave to come back in before they're going to really be able to walk themselves back up in towards the lane. Nice trade here from Avir, able to find himself a favorable auto attack and the laser. Nidalee again watching her into the early stages of the game, looking for the counter jungles, looking for the early ganks, and overall trying to build a lead, because when you're picking champions like the Nidalee, you're more or less making a statement saying, listen, I'm going to play aggressive, I'm looking to build up a lead, and I'm going to snowball extremely heavily. And picking this champion also usually have a lot of experience on it, as the hook's going to be thrown out. But mid lane returning might have been a first blood for the Zoe, but having to get herself away. Will be able to do so, but has to expend both of those summoners.
Yeah, nice job getting away from that gank in the mid lane. The Sejuani trying to get something in this mid side, trying to shut down the Zoe early on, or at least try to get the Victor back into the game as best as possible. Not able to do so. Sejuani still has yet to see that her blue is down as well. Going to go for that Rift Scuttler. So now Nidalee once again gets a massive clearing path. You can basically full clear the entire jungle. You equalize scuttles here. There's no punishment coming out from the Sejuani, and it's not the biggest of deals, but having a Nidalee that gets ahead, gets some of this AP early on, makes her clear so much faster, makes these ganks a lot deadlier. But you do see maybe a return gank from the Sejuani here in the mid lane.
Bubble lands again, but the flash is going to follow. The heal there from Aesthetic. Will it be enough? There has to be a couple more autos, but it will be enough. We could see the Nidalee go back in. It is a 1v2, but Nar is coming into the mix. Flash is forced out here from Avir. Castle already expended his auto. Will get nice roam from the top lane, and now Humber has themselves 2 kills on the board.
Yeah, very, very low health there for the Zoe. Thankfully, Nidalee was already on the counter jungling path, able to get that primal surge up and running onto Zoe to make sure that health stays high enough. And that roam, of course, as you said, from Gnar, humongous in that trade, able to get the double slow to be able to kill that Sejuani off. I would have liked to see the kill go on to Nidalee, but doesn't matter. 1 kill for the Gnar means that laning phase feels a little better for him too. These 2 solo lanes feeling pretty good on the side of Hummer here.
Yeah, no lost time for the roam either. Picks up the kill. Already has the assist early invade. Catches this wave because of it being slow, pushing into Rexalis on punish, and is now going to have to deal with the wrath of the home once that reset does. From obviously also opting here for the Dorn Shield, just trying to sustain versus the set the best he possibly can. Make sure he's just not letting this man snowball, because Rexalis known to be quite the top laner here within the Amnesty, not just for Risen, but, you know, for multiple leagues here, for multiple tournaments, playing, having a lot of success, looking to do this now, of course, on Aqualix Esports. As we'll see Sejuani Castle trying to get work done fly, looking just to help him and guide things out in towards the river. Do have a crab coming up here. It looks like it might be on the board, but Nidalee is in this top lane. She's just going to go for a reset. I'm going to spend some of this gold.
Actually, Spear, gonna miss there, not anything crazy, but this does give priority of the Dragon already over to the side of Aqualix. They had control of the river, and so Nidalee being on the top side is going to signal that there is no response that can come out. So just going to look maybe to push Rexalis a little further out of lane, get a better reset for Gnar here. Still trading that just for the Dragon. Nothing in return, just a negative trade. The Rift Herald would be the next thing, but no priority on that for the next 2 minutes. So nice little grab here from the side of Aqualix, gets themselves at least one of those potential win condition buttons in that soul that could come later in the game.
Nice pickup, able to get something after a little bit of a tough early game, first 6 minutes in for us. And now we'll see exactly what Nidalee has planned for the pathing coming out. Crab coming up here, but top lane engaged. Level 6 available for both of these top laners, as we're going to see the Mega Gnar now come out. Damage is good from Rexalis. Neither top laner wanting to opt in for that all-in just yet. Once the Mega Gnar does go on cooldown, we could see Rexalis then pull the trigger here for himself, as the Conqueror has all of that healing. But just waiting patiently at the moment. Zoe moving in now towards the bot lane, looking to play around her jungler. Again, playing this priority. This is just due to that Zoe having the early priority with the paddle stars here. You know, Vivir has to get himself this X-Core item first before he's really going to be able to start pushing in these lanes there super effectively. And there goes the redemption as he walks right back up, lands the bubble. He might even go for the paddle star, and he does as he lands a whole bunch of damage and almost finds the one shot.
Just a blasting one completed so far for the Zoe, but you see the amount of burst that can come down. Just a ridiculous amount for the earlier stage of the game. Gets the full combo off, of course, and that's going to push Victor for the most part out of the laning phase. Not going to be likely pushed out, but this does buy space for Aesthetic here. Trying to counter jungle a little bit of what comes through. Nice smite from Castle. Going to confirm that one.
Nothing given over right now. Bot lane slow pushing here. Gonna keep on contesting the Raptors. This is exactly what we expect from Nidalee. There it is, stealing the Krugs, the smite being on cooldown due to taking and securing that red buff, and immediately having the mid lane priority is just netting this Nidalee so much pressure here into the early stages of the game. That's what you really need. You know, if your mid laner is not getting you the pressure you need, then that's when it becomes very difficult to be effective with the Nidalee, because you're almost putting yourself in harm's way a lot of the time to be able to make these aggressive plays. But so far, so good. 1,000 gold up is going to be Humber Hawks. That's the bubbles on point constantly here. Not going to follow up with a paddle star here, but just letting him know that I have you constantly with this skill shot.
He does. We're fighting in the top lane, potentially going to be a little more than just trading. Mega Gnar comes out, going to push him off. An Aesthetic back at it, continuing to counter jungle. A rotation is going to be a little faster from Raimu here. He's going back in on the set, potentially looking to set up a gank here.
Very nice. Rexalis might have to invest the flash. Paddle star going to be flashed, and there it is. That pressure there into the jungle translates perfectly right in towards the top lane. And well, with that also being said, the pings are going down on top of the Rift Herald, so we could potentially see a start up here. Of course, our one neutral objective already going over. Binding going to land, no one to follow it up. So Aesthetic walks himself out safe and sound.
And he does. Fantastic job. And again, Rift Herald priority currently owned by, now it looks actually like the side of Aqualix. They were able to get their ADC here a little bit faster. That gives Ezreal a few more minions in terms of advantage over this Ophelia. It's pretty nice for him. Has the tier and the Sheen completed, but if Aqualix currently has forward priority on this, it'd be rough. It's a little bit of a scattered team fight here. Aesthetic just trying to poke in and do his best he can. Same with the Zoe. It'd be rough setup here for Aqualix. They might have to just pull off and make sure they commit to a full fight.
Ezreal's not here. Hook is thrown out, lands on towards Victor, but we're going to have to flash away, keep himself up and alive. In the pit here. Looks like it go down. Looks like it is going to be over towards Castle. Flashing Cage coming in. Remu will secure a kill for his AD carry as they realize and press forward. Castle too far up. Flashes a good binding. The cleanse is even better. Here comes the paddle star. Find its mark. It will not. And this is now Esports. It will up a kill. But the of going over towards the side of Aqualix.
A nice little objective control. Again, being the first one to the rotation, knowing where their strength is on the map is Aqualix Esports. Unfortunately, not able to take the fights. That early advantage gained, as well as some of these wave priorities, means that they're going to lose a fair amount on the map, and they lose that extra member. So the gold advantage right now going the way of Humber. So they want to continue skirmishing and fighting like this, or at least roaming around the map trying to find other members so they can continue to push this advantage as best as possible.
Second Dragon coming up here. 30 seconds on that. We'll watch as they look to continue to this pressure in towards the early game here for 3-0 lead, like Rebel just said. Having a nice gold lead, spending all of this gold here for a few of these members. Probably going to reset, spend some of this gold herself, as she has not gotten one on a bit. Very nice play so far at the stage of the game here for Humber Sports. They have the goal, they have everything they need to keep on playing towards a lot of these pressure points on towards. You just gotta love at least number one here thus far. Lane just breaking out. Please shot spawn is going to be able to fend them back as the rip shot off mid lane though. Vivir in a trouble, has to dodge the pedal star. It's going to hit the minion. Is he going to survive? Just the constantly flashing forward, but there is the empowered auto there from the passive, and that is a solo kill now for the Zoe.
And a nice little play in that mid lane. And of course, that gives them priority of mid lane to be able to push down into the jungle. So while the Rift Herald was dropped down there and they got quite a few plates off and a little bit of a gold back for the side of Aqualix, looks like the Dragon priority is going to go back the way of Hummer here. And if the attempted fight comes through, there is no Victor for additional damage. So you really only have the Aphelios to work with here. It looks like they're just going to seed this Dragon over, knowing that they don't have the ability to fight for it.
1-1 in Dragons. Nice pickup for them. Remu in a bit of trouble here. Showstopper available. Rex Alice going to discipline himself and not go for the engage completely. You can see it. Just great pressure all around. 3 members stacking up in the bot lane, just waiting for someone to overstep. And we might just get it. There's the engage flashing onto Thrashnik. It should just be going down. Flash forced out. Supplies hold on towards his and just able to get himself out with the E. But nice play, and finally we're going to see the side of Aqualix get themselves on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have plenty of damage off this top or bottom tower, my apologies, which means they're set up. But Nidalee coming around for the fight, I don't know that I like this. This tower's going to be broken very quickly. There's no real support to help them out.
They do have Gnar here, who has come down with a TP. TP being responded with, but they've already deleted the Nidalee. Remu not even close to that Mega Gnar. He's stuck in place. And that is a tower. 2 more kills, and immediately, just in a matter of a minute, Aqualix Esports, they are going to grab themselves the lead.
Yeah, pretty rough to deal with. And again, this is a very poke-oriented team fight that you're working with here. And no Nidalee Spears, no real Ezreal poke came down, so you had plenty of priority. No minions under the tower there for the side of Aqualix means they're not getting poked out by the tower either. And the Gnar, as you said, the final nail in the coffin, no Gnar bar stacked when he came in on that teleport. So there's nothing you can do in terms of engage. You don't have the big ultimate. If he does have that, maybe potential cleanup, actually quite a bit that Ecstatic probably could have done there. And Supplies had more than enough health bar to support as well, but instead they end up losing far more than they had bargained for after TPing in. They lose their TP. Set continues to push that top lane. Finally, the balance starting to shift back towards Aqualix in this game.
All that gold put on towards the 80 carry. Leashov Spawn wants to now get a lot of work done here for himself. This is just beautifully done all around the board. Nearly level 8 has that item completed here along with the Sorcerer Boots. She's going to be putting in a lot more damage, has that penetration now built in towards the kit. Leashov Spawn get himself a fairly early red buff here, so could even potentially see a fight over the next couple minutes around this Aphelios, who getting closer and closer to that first item. But switching towards the mid lane, going to now switch that lane assignment up for the time being, trying to push things out into the mid lane. Zoe waiting patiently, can look to chunk these members out constantly as the steal not going to come out of static, able to secure himself the crab.
That he is pretty nice. Again, Nidalee with this Runic Echo should be able to clear insanely fast, especially because you do have that buff-hungry Victor, of course, on the blue buff, and then the Aphelios on the red buff, so you're not really getting either of those anytime soon if you're the Sejuani. So she's going to be a little more deprived of those resources than Nidalee at this point when it comes to farming. So her impact has to come in the ganking if you want to stay ahead of the curve if you're Castle. On the opposite side, we do see Set shifted towards the bottom lane, that tower broken, so he has a much longer lane to work in. And Gnar, being as squishy as it is, does mean that he can't step up nearly as far. Otherwise, now the ultimate and the engagement can come through fully from the side of the Set if the Gnar ever uses that jump to get away offense, or either offensively or just poorly defensively in some state whatsoever.
Things calming down for the moment. Only 7 kills have gone down 14 minutes in. We got our second Rift Herald coming up in 30 seconds. That's going to be the next real objective that's on the table for both of these teams. Bot lane, no teleport, remember. Rexalis also invested his, so both top laners unable to enter in towards the fight very quickly as we're going to see some of that poke start to drop down. Leash off spawn, going to take a good chunk to that health bar, but heals up the majority of it. Has the Morgana close and nearby just in case they do go for any kind of an all-in, but you can see it. Both junglers hovering around the middle lane, just expecting and waiting for something to potentially break out.
Yeah, Rift Herald's going to be the point of contention most likely. Both these teams kind of looking to use their teams as best as possible here. Aqualix getting priority on this. Now the set, getting some poke damage down on the Nart. Also can come out.
Very good damage. Nart ultimates could be a factor. Coming up, as we'll see. Poke hook lands onto Affiliate. We take it. The root is even better. They're going to be able to punk out. He's no longer the tank as he has got no aim left. And this is exactly the poke composition that we talked about.
Exactly what you needed there. Able to poke out. It started with, I believe, Fly tanking a massive sphere. Ended up going onto the Sejuani. Now should still be the fight. They've regened up a little bit.
Ultimate thrown out from the Sejuani. Nothing following it up. Rexalis on flank. Flashing engage. Just showstopper right on top. One lands down. And stun. Shield is good. So much health back as Castle is taken down and slaying the opposing jungler. Rexalis finds a second as support. Jungle down. They take them off of the Rift Herald. And now they can move on in and look to grab the Rift Herald for themselves.
Yeah, didn't even need that TP. Just a phenomenal flank there from Rexalis to be able to find onto 3 members. Ends up getting 2 kills off the back end of it. Flash burn from Montrez there. The Mountain Drake going to be up here, but one can be traded absolutely. Neither team has the health or the map cooldowns necessary to take either fight at the moment, but certainly another win for Aqualix is starting to feel better. Now sitting on 1,500 gold lead, and their team fight looking much, much cleaner. When they get this hard engage, it's so hard for the poke composition to ever have any agency whatsoever, especially this Ocean Drake, as you saw in that last fight, healed up the Sejuani very, very heavily when she had been dropped to basically 25% of her health. Ended up getting a lot better frontline from her.
Now looks to go over for free. No contest. There it is. Second Drake. This one being, of course, Mountain Dragons from here on out for us on towards Summoner's Rift. Trade could just be the Rift Trail that they were just fighting over, but of course was not secured or taken from either team. So this likely going to be taken and just traded out. This is just a pickup overall. Getting the Rift Trail the first time it cracked open the bot lane. That's when we also saw the side of Aqualix Esports find themselves a really big lead. They broke open. They were able to find themselves a gold advantage. That's all started snowballing. You can see that's broken up to about 1,500 gold.
Yeah, that has Victor pushing that top lane as well. They could use this to try to break either top tower to get some pressure in the outer edges of the jungle so they can kind of pinch them into the mid lane, or use it in the mid lane so they can start pushing their ward line up a little further. I don't think it's absolutely vital to do that. You want better flank angles, so I think top lane would be a better place to throw it down so you can get this set and this Sejuani into places where you can look for better engagement angles on this team, because again, if you're running directly at them, you sometimes get the engagement, sometimes you get Zoe bubbled and die. There's no response to that. But on the other way, if you have those outer towers gone, you're able to do a lot of work when it comes to flanking around the edge. You saw Set work his way through the mid lane, but that came because he was pushed up so far in that side lane. So I'd like to see top lane go down first. And if they can't get it without the Rift Herald, they got to use the Rift Herald for it. That's the only place it can go. They're dropping it mid.
Now they are going to look to drop this right now, right here. This is going to be the play. Cracking open the mid tower, so valuable as it opens up so much priority towards the map. Able to move into the blue and red quadrant now freely as they wish. Doesn't look like it's going to get off second charge. It could, but directed camera doesn't even care. It's probably going to be taken down. Doesn't look like it was able to crack out anything else here, but this is just another nice take. No response to come through on towards the map here for us, and it looks like Revere up into the top lane here is also going to be able to grab himself another tower. So now back-to-back towers, 3 total, and there has been no towers responded with here thus far from the side of the Hawks.
Yeah, I really like that play. That was very intelligent. Throwing it mid lane and then the overcommitment from Humber to try to defend against the double potential push for the tower means that they left the Victor alone in the top lane. So now you get basically 2 towers for just the price of the 1 Rift Herald, which is more than enough value than you could ever ask for something like that. So great job. Also, the Victor able to get that tower, the single tower gold, starts getting him more towards that itemization he really wants. Has the completed Hex Core already, so going to start getting towards that Ludens, things like Lich Bane if you want some burst, or any of those other items that really start to make him a menace in these team fights.
That is indeed. And so methodical this far here for us, Rebel Fox. Really just seeing both of these teams not go for the full-on commitments, not going for, the scrimmage after scrimmage, just trying to fight over nothing. They're very coordinated on what they're trying to set up, what they're trying to accomplish and get for themselves here on towards the map. And, well, it has been pretty much fantastic here thus far, but closing in on 20 minutes, gold lead still very much in favor of the side of Aqualix Esports, just due to that all stemming from the bot lane play when they broke open that first tower of gold, and that's now net them about a 3,000 gold lead here. And Baron just about to spawn and coming back up here in about 10.
That they do. There is still plenty of hope here from the side of Humber. They have 3 towers broken down, but they have a lot of pick potential here with the Zoe, with the Nidalee. They have plenty of damage on both those champions. The Zoe has the Ludens completed alongside, so those Sork shoes for some pen. Also interesting, Aesthetic doesn't go full assassin in this case, actually goes for the Athenes. Really good idea. Having some poke damage on the Nidalee with Ludens is going to stack that Athenes very quickly, and your heals not only give some attack speed, but also give plenty of health to start with. So an Athenes just gives you plenty more to work with, especially for backliners that want to move a little forward. So if Ezreal wants to jump forward, put some extra damage down, then get pulled out by Thrush, you can heal him back to full health after that is done. Priority on this mid lane going the way of Aqualix, and they could look to pressure towards the tower for an exchange of the Drake. Actually just going to use it as a way to clear out the rest of the vision. They're playing around with Hummer's rotations. I'm just toying with them most of the time now.
Toying back and forth your force constantly. That's 50 seconds coming up. Third Drake of the game could be secured here for the side of the Hawks. But Aqualix obviously do not want to give over too many of these dragons here. Getting the extra shields is going to be pretty beneficial. As we're going to see some of the poke going down, fighting over mid lane priority. There's the engage. Lantern is taken perfectly. No ultimate thrown out. Showstopper used on supplies. He has to flash away, but he's pulled right back in. That's a pick. Lee Shop Spawn finds the first one. Ravir is fighting a 1v3 currently, and he's taking it all up. Aesthetic goes in. Does he have the damage? It is going to be a lot, but now Thresh has been caught out. Rexal is going to go down. Ravir also wins his 1v1, and 3 members down for Humber Hawks.
Phenomenal little fight across all boards. And again, another flank from Rexalis, able to get the Ezreal out of the fight as fast as possible. Those 4 members just CC down and make sure Nikish isn't able to get out of that one. Of course, the 1v1 of the Nidalee versus this Victor. At this point in the game with the Athenes, you don't have much. Now we see Rexalis in a pretty rough place.
Oh, that may be in a rough spot, but he's healing back up. He closes the distance. Now it's melee range to shield it out, but doesn't find the tick in the middle. And we're going to see the Anar come in. Remu able to grab himself just to make sure that kill goes over. But the more important objective, of course, is going to now be taken away for the side of Aqualix Esports, and they're going to even up the Drake count.
Yeah, and you're really starting to get a massive advantage accruing for the side of Aqualix here. You have the Victor getting a couple of kills, Filio sitting on multiple, and this massive Sejuani also can now start to soak a lot of the poke coming through from Ezreal, from Zoe, anything like that, because of the Warmog she's completed. So you have this massive health pool that can just soak any damage that comes in, and then you regen it with the combination of the Ocean Drake and your Warmogs. Really, really rough now to try to put damage on. You have to find really creative ways to get damage onto the backline as long as the Sejuani's around.
22 minutes and 30 seconds into our game number 1. Lead building slowly but surely. We're seeing the composition come online right now for the side of Aqualix Esports. Really looking at this Affilios. Lee Shop Spawn having that 2-item spike. He's got to be feeling really good about this currently here at the moment. Top lane having the pressure to now maneuver up here against the Zoe, who did almost end up going down to Rexalis in the 1v1, but saved by the bell as Nar comes in, and he's able to get something back in his pocket. He's sitting on 2 kills as well as the Zoe. So there's still lots of potential, like you said, Rebel Fox, to still find the engages, still find the picks, and land all of this poke down, but it's landing the skill shots. It's setting up the plays, and with both TPs being back up, we can now see Rexalis continue to push down in towards his bot lane and just keep Remu just constantly having to catch this wave.
Yeah, Remu, he's so vital to the team composition here from the side of Humber, in that Hummer, because he is the only one with any hard engage. Everybody else is just pure poke and pick potential whatsoever. And this Gnar has never found an opportunity to get a massive team fight ultimate. We see Nikish trying to set up a play on Vivier.
1v2, bubble lands. This is going to put him in a really tough spot, but here comes Rexalis. He is going to join into the fight, save his mid laner, and Thresh now is the one that is not looking good. Rexalis claims kill number 3. Another TP gonna be successful as they save the mid laner, finds a kill, looking for more. Castle wants to chase. Nar stuck under the tower, or actually the tower's already taken. He's just stuck out in the top lane. Nowhere to go down, closing the gap. Stun will land. Rexalis pulls him back in. He should be able to mega Nar out. He does. He closes the distance, throws his opponents away, and that will be able to get himself out safe and sound. But again, the poke's going to be slowly coming out. 3 of the members still up and alive as they'll slowly chip away at the health bars. DP coming in again here from Vivir in towards the back, and now they're forced to run in towards the jungle. They've already lost the tank. This is another member down for Humber. Lee Shop Spawn leads the charge. Can't do a whole lot. Bubble lands onto Vivir again, bouncing back and forth here constantly, but no one else going to fall. And finally, these teams look to maybe disengage.
That they do. Still plenty of damage that can come out from this poke squad. Nobody's tanky enough to actually soak the damage. Fly in a pretty rough position. Going to be picked off, potentially. Nope. Oh, that spear.
Spear finds it at max range. Another shutdown. Finally, the poke able to find a little bit something here in this top, using a few of their numbers, and that's going to give the gold back in their pocket.
That they will. Once all the engage tools from the side of Aqualix are burnt, there's not much more that the team fight can bring to the table, especially if that Warmox doesn't come through from Sejuani. So once that's canceled and she's at very low health, there's nobody left to soak damage. Now you're going to be in a rough spot to try to get this.
Very aggressive.
No.
Victor caught out. Two shot pro. The lateral. Both the members of Veer now, but he's looking for a trade. Let's take down the jungle. Massive actually manages to find through Thresh. Takes himself away. Followed. Eyes flashing after Castle picks that one up very easily for him. Now just needs to kite this one out best possibly can. He's going to now go in for the re-engage. Passo just over the wall, but the bubble lands. The flash is not good whatsoever. And there is the shutdown from Rimu as he's able to find the kill. And this is just a brawl over the Baron. Another landing. Flash could take another flash over the wall, and he does. Rex Alvis no longer able to chase. Finally, we see these teams.
Yeah, the break back and forth a couple of times between these two teams. Again, when the fight breaks and it starts to be just like a disengage from the side of Aqualix, all the poke damage really starts to stick and come through. But the fight had reset for so long, members like Castle started to come back up off with all of their cooldowns back, so they're able to take the fight on the back end of it. Also, Vivir in that fight got 2 members on his own to deny that Baron attempt from the side of Hummer here. So really, really good hero play from him to deny that one. Now, Dragon coming up, both at 2 Drakes, will set up whoever will have the next Drake would potentially be fighting for that soul. That's going to be a big one to contest. First one here is Aqualix as well. They're the one with the superior team fight. Just need to not get poked out here, and they should be fine to at least look to start this up.
Chalice tanks the spear right to the side. Thresh looking, but not connecting. And this is just the patience game here at the moment. You either have to pull the trigger as Aqualix and go for the all-in, or try and find yourself a pick and make them back away. But this poke going to keep on flying out here constantly for us. We can see the Warmogs obviously picked up for Castle. Very intelligent, as he knows he's going to be tanking up so much here. Boomerang thrown out. They have the pink ward on the pit, but they know that the Baron, or the Dragon rather, is not been started up. Sleepy Trouble Bubble going to go wide. Big cooldown to pay attention to. Paddlestar also not finding its mark. And this is really just playing dodgeball at the moment here in towards the river. And finally, the Dragon's going to be started up. Mega Gnar is available. This is a point to maybe look for a fight here. Could see an E engaged. There is no flash. That is going to be the ultimate thrown out from Sejuani. Lands onto the back line here. That is going to be also the set looking for the kill. But kill number 1 is down, but the Dragon is going to be secured here from the Affilios. Never caught in the middle of it all. That is Fly taking down the mid laner. And we're going to see Aqualix Esports find themselves 2 kills and take the Dragon.
Yeah, not the biggest engagement I'm sure that they would have wanted. They wanted to try to get that Gnar. Rexalis looked to get the angle onto him to make sure he could take the Mega Gnar into the team, which would have just been absolutely destructive, but not able to get that angle. Still get 2 members, trade the Dragon over, did go to that Gnar. I think he got it towards the end of that with a boulder toss. But still, they have now priority on Baron. They have the Aphelios and their Victor at basically full health. Let's see if they actually continue to start up. Aesthetic getting zoned off.
Luck thrown out, doesn't find its mark here. Again, dancing. This Thresh might just be dead, and he is. He is going to die. Fear, and this Baron has been started up and taken the whole time. Can't able to get herself in towards the pit. Very nice dodge. She can look to get in, but she's being zoned up by so many different members. She has to get over now. Spear thrown out. She flashes, but she fails flashes. Doesn't hit the jump either. That is a bit of a misplay from Aesthetic, as he can't get into the pit to force the 50-50. Supplies his chunk down to about 10% HP, and now he is forced to back away as well. So 2 members down. Rex Alvis is clearly not done with these members here. Shield thrown out. He doesn't have any backup from his team. He way oversteps and gives his life over for free.
That he does. Now, potentially more engaged. Bubble's not going to land onto anybody, so this should be the end of it. Nice little play. Again, living that dragon, but getting 2 members is huge to be able to set up this team fight around that Baron. And then, of course, you saw Vivier once again being this hero play by zoning off 3 members pretty much on his own. A little bit of help from Fly on that one, but certainly plenty of pressure. Gets Nickish to be able to deny any vision control over. And, of course, Aesthetic tried very hard to get over that pit, ended up fail flashing, unfortunately, and not able to get there to contest it. And as you said, overextension from Exalis pretty rough, but still now firm control for Aqualix to be able to have this map. They have a, 7,000 gold lead, 6,000 gold lead in their favor. They have the far superior team fighting composition that we've seen time and time again, and this Victor scaling is just getting really, really high. So it's starting to look a little bleak here from the side of Humber. They can still land this poke damage very well, and it does plenty, but the Sejuani playing very well around as being that frontline shield to soak all this important damage.
3 items also locked in for Leashov spawn. He's feeling great. Now their tower going to fall here for us. Tier number 2 in the mid lane is going to be down. 5 members holding strong. They want to start off the siege. They have to be careful sieging against the poke composition. They can just look to chunk them all out and easily find a couple of these cleanup kills as Battlestar lands onto a few different members with the splash of the Luden's Echo passive. And again, keeping everybody fairly at bay, but they're going to go for another push here with the Caddy Wave moving up in towards the mid lane here for them. Watching for the engage here, watching for Leashov spawn. He's the one that's going to be putting out the damage here. They have to make sure he stays alive. All summoners pretty much up and available for the majority of these members. But they do not want to full-on commit. They don't want to overforce and give over this Baron buff here. So now they're just going to make the swift rotation towards the side lanes and start looking for more of these outers.
Yeah, I would much prefer they go to a 1-3-1 strategy because that separates this poke up about the map rather than just condensing it all into one area that they have like a firing range to work in. They're able to pull quite a bit of pressure onto that side lane by just moving Vivier over there, and that's going to break open this middle lane. Could actually rotate the top and do the exact same play all over again with bottom side and top side being split even further apart. Really like the way that they use this Baron buff so far. I don't know how much longer is on it. Can't be ridiculously long, but might be able to get that top tower at least.
Don't commit for the inhibitor in the mid lane here, but like you said, playing towards the side lanes now. And they're just going to be able to shred through this with the Aphelios, man. Not even a problem whatsoever. Almost like a Tristana hammering down there with their charge on top of the tower. It went down so fast, but they're not going to go for any more. They do not want to bite off more than they can chew. Now going to go for some resets, spend this gold, get back out on towards the map, and get ready for this dragon that's coming up in 50 seconds.
Yeah, certainly one that they have to take complete control of because this would be the soul coming in for the poke composition. And of course, the hard engage from Set and from Sejuani does a lot less damage when it's all mitigated by that massive Mountain Drake shield, as well as all the armor and magic resist being amplified from the Mountain Drake means that even a hard engage might not mean the end of the world here. Fly finding a really nice pick.
Oh, they follow it up, and well, this Thresh, nowhere to go. Leashov Spawn says, thank you very much, I'll collect that. Fly sets up the pick, and they execute, and well, that is probably the worst time you could have gotten picked there. You now have no vision. You also lose a sweeper. 30 seconds on the stretch coming up, 10 seconds on the dragon. This wouldn't be the soul dragon, of course, going over, but one that's going to put them one away. The next one could very likely be it, but they're sticking around like they want to fight, and that's going to be Ezreal in a bit of trouble. Heal comes out. Joey forced the flash away and does get out to safety here as Rexalis keeping everybody away and at bay. Rimu could look for a big Gnar play here, but again, it is still only a 4v5. Dodges the Binding Spears thrown out, but this team of Humber Hawks, they're still dancing around like they want to take this.
Yeah, the Gnar is almost into Gnar. This could be the engagement that he's been looking for most of the game. He's going to try to steal it. It's big engagement.
Yeah, big engagement, but no one here to follow it up. Instead, it kind of gets baited in towards the mix here. Gnar is down. Italy is down. 2 more members fall. They're coming off mixed timers. They have a bit of poke available, but that's just going to be Vivier going right into the mid lane, pulling the trigger with the TP, and they're going to look to run it up and look for more of the base.
That they are. Should be able to break this inhibitor very easily. Top lane could also potentially be pushed if they want to move someone up there. They could also maybe look for an end. They have 30 seconds on 2 big contributors, all the engage and a fair amount of the poke coming through from the Nidalee. Took on a castle, not going to be much though because he's too tanky. And yeah, this could just end up being the end of the game. I don't think they have the damage to actually push off this
Oh, showstopper into the glacial. Oh, that was absolutely brutal. Nothing you can do about that one. Sejuani combining that CC, almost finding a kill there. On towards supplies as well as he's forced to Arcane Shift away. And while the Nexus is exposed, the whole composition came online. And that is going to be Aqualix Esports playing a very clean mid to late game here and grabbing themselves game number 1.
That they did. And again, a lot of that came around from that bot lane fight where they lost earlier in the game. And I don't mind the fact that Humber tried to ramp the tempo of the game at that point. If they win that bottom lane fight, they probably continue to snowball with the Zoe, with this Nidalee as well, around the map, just consistently finding damage. Unfortunately, that completely took all the air out of their tires, and there's nothing else their composition can do. Then it became a very standard, slow game that the superior team fighting composition could win it. And that's exactly the route that wanted to be taken by Aqualix. They played it very well. Very few hiccups as soon as that early game was done. So just phenomenally played by them.
Beautifully played all around the board. And that's just what you like to see here from this Aqualix Esports squad. Able to get it done here for our second match here for week number 2. But now we'll have to see exactly what Humber Hawks do to regain, reset coming in towards map number 2, as things have obviously been a little bit rough here for them thus far. But doing a great job as Aqualix Esports, looking to get themselves the first win on the board. And will they back to do just that? I mean, we're going to throw it to a little break, get ourselves up and ready for game anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for map number 2 here for us. In between this matchup between Aqualix Esports and Humber Hawks for the Risen Champs League, as it has been a very nice game number 1 coming from Aqualix Esports. They played very cleanly there for us. Rebel Fox, they're able to pretty much play that mid to late game, essentially perfect. And the poke composition that Humber Hawks had obviously drafted not successful. So now we'll see what's going to be changing for us going into this map number 2.
Like I said, I think the poke composition wasn't a terrible idea if they feel comfortable in the champions, but they need to give themselves a little easier win condition to operate under. So Humber Esports, or my apologies, Humber, I can't remember the second half of their name. My goodness. Humber Hawks, that's it. My apologies. Humber Hawks, they need to give themselves better win conditions and an easier to play composition. Otherwise, they might struggle once again. If they want to play something complex, you got to make sure they know what their win condition and operate on that instead.
Try and actually pull it off. We'll see exactly what the changes will be so far. Leona, Lee taking off the board themselves, and the Talia and Ola have been responding. So following in suit with these bans, but a couple of the new ones, nothing really taken away or that last game. But we'll see what else it will be.
That we will see from last draft. The MF was banned out in this game from the side of Hummer. Interesting. Leona also stayed on the blue side ban list as something that was a good response. Olaf taken away as well. A lot of different bans here. Aqualix taking away Aphelios as well means that there's no priority ADC here. So Hummer, I'm curious to see what they want that priority on. Whether they're going to go for something like Set to try to take it away in this game, or in the opposite one. Yeah, absolutely. One of those picks. You can flex it in the mid lane or top lane. Very, very strong at the moment.
Yeah, this champion, I think this has been something a lot of people have vocalized their opinions on as being one of maybe the strongest champions within the game itself right now, obviously, as you're able to upgrade items with the passive. Again, like you said, just being able to flex this champion around to like 4 different roles, essentially. It is pretty ridiculous. I think most commonly, of course, still in towards the solo lanes at the moment. But the response, Aqualix, this time around, they're going to grab themselves the Ezreal here as they're going to try the tides with the man himself.
That they will have the Ezreal. Yumi is available, or they don't want to go for that. Silas actually going to be the priority here. That's a little interesting for me. I don't know whether that's going to go towards the top side. Could be jungle still. It's a little less jungler right now. Mid lane still feels like the place where it's going to go most of the time. Although I only really see a top lane anymore, so I don't know if that has become the place for Silas players to grab him at. We'll see if that's the case during this. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to take into the Ornn. Good sustain for that heavy trading potential that the Ornn has, and that ultimate being stolen is a great dueling potential.
Lucian following up here. Silas coming out. A lot of different champions making their way on towards the Rift here for game number 2. I like the adaptation from Humber. Looks like they're going for something like you mentioned, Rebel Fox. That might be something just easier to execute on here. They have one of the best engaged champions already locked in for themselves. They got now a Lucian that they can play in towards the early game. They got an Echo that they can flex towards the mid lane as well as the bot, or as well as the jungle, excuse me. And they're going to be able to have a little bit of scaling implemented with the Echo as well as a lot of early game here. So far, coming in with a different approach.
Really like the Braum grab from Aqualix as well. It sets up for the Ezreal pretty well. It defends against a lot of the aggression that Lucian can bring in, but mostly it's the takeaway to make sure Lucian doesn't have that lane pairing. Echo, interesting. It's a good dive champion to add on to Ornn's engage because it's such a long-range engage that it allows Echo specifically to get into a backline, try to find some kill, and then immediately ult out to keep himself safe. So the combination of those two champions is very frightening, even for somebody with the mobility of an Ezreal.
Coming out here for us with some of the bans. They're going to take away that Thresh. They don't want to have that champion come back on towards the map. Don't want it to be Comfort going in for game number 2. The Kiana also banned away. This is very similar to what the Hawks did in towards the draft there for phase 2. I believe they took the Kiana and then I was Camille there last towards the draft. And around it will be another mid laner block.
Yeah, really expecting that Silas to be flexed towards the top lane. It kind of looks like, at least more than anything else at the moment. So Aqualix, we'll see what they want to opt for here. Obviously, again, that Silas could still be flexed around, so I expect this to be the jungle pickup in response likely to the Echo. There's plenty of things you could opt for. Lee Sin is still available. Sejuani was good for them last game, so that's not a bad pick there. It gives them a little more frontline in combination with Braum.
And I mean, it worked for them last game, and so far, you know, if you're going to be able to have this Sejuani that was, for the most part, took a lot of the pressure, I would say, from the Nidalee, but was still able to stabilize and obviously still able to be pretty effective for the most. Why not try your hand again as Bard might just be locked in here from us for the Hawks?
I love it. Bard is a fantastic blind pick into a Braum. I'm surprised it actually got through the second phase because it's much better at punishing the Braum than something like the Nautilus or the Thresh would be. For a lot of reasons, I can talk about it a little bit more in game if we see some of those things. But it's a very good pick alongside the Lucian. Super aggressive, roams very heavily. It's a fantastic addition to what they're doing right now. The set going to be that final pick as well. Little interesting. Again, you can kind of triple flex Ornn, Echo, and set across all 3 lanes if you really want to.
Yeah, that's right. That's really don't have a guaranteed position for 3 of the members, like you just said, Rebel Fox. Things kind of still up in the air for us here, as we'll see what the last pick is going to at least be here for us for Aqualix Esports, as they're looking to round out this composition, of course, either with a jungler or a mid laner. The Silas probably going to the jungle, I would presume now, or sorry, going towards the top lane here, or the Cassiopeia flex towards the top lane here, so they can move some things around themselves.
That they can. I'm a little surprised that Aqualix didn't opt for an AD assassin. Again, it's something that Vivier, at least I saw on his op.gg, that he plays a lot of them in that Zed, that Talon. Talon, especially right now, phenomenal at counter jungling, really good into Echo early on in the game. He has so much better access to damage. So you could counter jungle Echo with the Sedge or with the Talon, something like that, to go into him. Instead, opt for the Cassiopeia, a little bit better scaling, good into either Set or Ornn in the laning phase, and buys her a little bit of time. So Echo's the only pressure the Cassiopeia is really good.
And really interesting coming in for us for as far as the change up. We saw pretty much the side of Aqualix Esports play a very perfect mid to late game here. And now this time around, it can be at least matched a little bit better here from Humber, as they're going to have themselves a very strong DPS AD carry here that's looking to get the snowball going. The Bard able to also maneuver around the map and create plays here with his jungler. And that's really the big thing when I look for when I see the Bard pick coming through. It's obviously not meant for winning the laning phase. It's more or less meant for setting up those tempered fates, trying to either make plays here with the Echo, and they do have a lot of potential going into the Cassiopeia. This is a champion that doesn't have too many escapes, has to pretty much flash away from that tempered fate, and can get engaged on fairly easily. So watching this Bard are going to be one of the key things. We don't see this champion too often, but I feel like when we do see it, it's usually piloted by somebody who has a lot of experience on the champion itself.
I would hope so. It is a relatively difficult champion to pilot if you have no idea what you're doing. Tons of long-range engage, though, I think is the definition for the side of Humber here. They've got the Bard ultimate and the Ornn ultimate to set up for echo dives, set dives, things of that sort. So if you have really good flank angles, specifically, again, if you have those side lane towers down and you can find some of the access to the outer jungle to get larger loops around, and you can get echo, set, into some of those flank positions, a setup from Bard or Ornn from a much further distance away is going to feel a lot more impactful. And Lucian has a lot of mobility as well to impact some of those fights when the setup is there, so they can have a really big burst combination coming through from this team if they set it up properly.
So looking to set it up properly. And well, last game we also got to see, I think the whole side of Esports play pretty as a synergized unit, as a unit as a whole. We saw lots of work done there with this set. Looks like at the moment here, the draft, it's in the mid lane right now. Rebel Fox thing switched around. We're going to see the Ornn up and towards the top lane. It's either way. The champions around the Cassie also being up and towards here for us right now. It's in the mid.
Pretty interesting to see. Again, I feel like the Ornn is the matchup that Cassiopeia can punish the most, in that it's a lot harder for Ornn to try to get trades into the Cassiopeia given her range and the shutdown of that E, and also the ult redirection with just that one miasma ability coming from Cassiopeia. So plenty of the trading potential from Ornn, and the all-in can get shut down just by the Cassiopeia existing. Also requires Echo to respond all the way on the side of the map rather than the middle of the map, so it makes it difficult. It has to pull him way further away to punish this Cassiopeia, as opposed to that middle lane where maybe you can respond to something on the bottom or top a little bit faster. So I do like that little flex of Cassiopeia to that top scene. Rexalis certainly had himself a game on the set last time, and I don't expect anything less of him this time.
Yeah, nothing less this time. And overall, Rebel Fox, what are your thoughts going into game 2 here for us? We just saw pretty dominating team fighting coming through from Aqualix Esports. Not a lot of poke was able to be landed there from the side of Humber Hawks. They were really unable to find their footing here. We highlighted a lot of the players that were going to be coming out for us and making their way on towards Summoner's Rift that we thought would kind of make a name for themselves here. And overall, we see the change up. We see the side of Humber Hawks obviously wanting to force this game number 3 to make sure that they're able to get themselves on towards the board. So what's the game plan? What are you looking for specifically going into game number 2?
Yeah, for this one, Hummer, I think that their laning phase is a little bit stronger. The set in the jungle is something that I think punishes Sejuani rather hard. And I actually, when it comes to jungle set, I'm not in love with having a very defensive jungle set. I don't like people that go like Cinder Hulk into directly Gargoyle Stoneplate. While it might be better for team fighting, it doesn't feel like what set strength is, all things said and done. I want to see a more aggressive set build. Warrior, something along those lines. Just take the aggression into Sejuani's jungle. There's nothing that Sejuani can do to fight you early on in the game. So take your set, counter jungle as best you can. Echo into Cassiopeia feels okay. They actually ended up switching that matchup on me at the last second. Of course they did. Why not? And then the Ornn, of course, going into the Sylas. Neither of those lanes feels particularly dominant on either side. Again, I guess the Echo versus Cassiopeia, if the Echo gets early wave clear, feels good to roam around. And so the set and Echo combination could be very big, but they're both melee champions. So you're fine. The Ezreal, the Braum should feel okay, and the Sylas should have some defense. I would expect more pressure to that top side of the map if you're on the side of Humber. On the other side, you have this team fight composition once again. You've got Sylas for some engaging. You can take Ornn ultimate, you can take Bard ultimate, you can take Set ultimate. You have all these ways to actually team fight. Then you have Sejuani, tons of consistent damage from Cassiopeia, Ezreal, Braum. They're looking to play the exact same way. Aqualix, they want to take it to mid game, want to team fight as best as possible around these neutral objectives. They want to win that. That's exactly their game plan. So it's up to this team that now has a lot more aggression, has a lot more mobility, to try to punish the fact that they're going to stay a little bit more stagnant early on.
Yeah, we will watch that now. That is the breakdown for us, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2, at least for the draft itself. We'll see if the Humber Hawks are going to be able to fight back in game number 2 and force this game number 3, or if it'll just be a hot 2-0 for Aqualix Esports, and if they're going to net themselves the first win in week number 2. We're going to find out very shortly, but first, we're going to throw it to a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we get ourselves into game number 2 here on the day. It has been a fantastic series thus far here for the Aqualix Esports fans, as they've obviously already got themselves a win in game number 1 pretty convincingly in towards the later stages. This time around, changing things up. Humber Hawks now looking to take this game number 3 to force it to that game number 3.
I would hope that they were able to do that. Gotta love some appreciation for the ability of a team to be able to adapt and take a game 2 in a series like this, especially in such a dominating win from the side of Aqualix, where they just got put down, pretty easily in that early game and just got demolished from that point on. Hopefully, seeing a little bit of a turnaround for this team. Oh, Lion March wins. Just appreciating each other there.
That's right. There's a Braum available, and we could see him go for the invade. We did see last game, of course, that kind of put Leash off spawn in a little bit of a rough situation, of course, as he had to flash very early on, and that kind of just blew all of the lane pressure and presence that they wanted to have for themselves in towards the early laning phase. And well, this time around, no early invades, no bubbles, no Zoe, as I'm sure that was very frustrating to deal with, at least for the first 15 minutes. They're able to stabilize fairly easy themselves, but this time, both junglers could start on the same side of the map going into game 2.
All right. I do want to point out one thing before anything kicks off too heavy here. Our Bard has Omni Stone in this game. I don't know if you're just... I don't know. That's the appreciation. You don't see Omni Stone. I could stop the sentence there, but you don't see it that often, to be honest, because not a lot of champions use it to absolute maximum potential. The reason why is, again, it's just it's very situational across all things. It does do some pretty nice things for a lot of champions. I don't know that Bard particularly runs it fantastically. Obviously, in my opinion, I think Guardian is his best rune at the moment, across pretty much every ELO and in every matchup. So maybe just looking to be aggressive, try to use some of these like aggressive keystones, things like Halo Blades, Grasp, Fleet Footwork, things like that, just to try to auto attack and harass as best he can.
Oh, very nice. Cosmic Binding going to drop onto both of the members here, able to just, again, add in a little bit of this poke here on towards Leash off spawn as he oversteps there, starting with the Arcane Shift. Level 2 now picked up for them. Top lane Rexalis going to feel the wrath of the Orin up here, as I'm sure most of our fellow top laners have as well. We already see a gank. This is going to potentially be a play where Rexalis closes the distance. Might have to still flash away. There it is, but a very nice prediction flash from Aesthetic, but does not have enough damage in his kit to find the kill.
Yeah, nice little flash. The flash W from Aesthetic was really, really clean coming out there, but Rexalis, of course, knowing that that's going to come through, burning flash for flash, can also TP back to lane and won't be punished. Actually going to sit here, pick up the remainder of this wave, because he had a few, I think he had 1 corrupting potion stack left. Not to mention the rest of that wave, still a little bit stacked. Trades back and forth, going both ways a little bit. Of course, right now, Echo actually bullying out Cassiopeia. Very low mana at about half a health bar right now for Vivier. Not feeling good. Would likely look to get a reset here, but Sejuani backing at the same time. Gonna find it back, thankfully, though.
We'll get that reset off. Walking through the middle, wants to grab both grabs and will be able to do so. If you get himself back towards the main, gonna have to get that TP most likely, and there it is. So he's gonna be back now, but already setting up the scuttle going to be
and
hard.
Echo are making an aggressive play towards Cass. If she roams too far down in the river, they can punish her very heavily. Oh no!
The flash is available, but this is going to be forced out right into the parallel converted. Definitely done. First blood going to Echo.
Yeah, fantastic face breaker, able to pull Cassiopeia back into the bubble from Echo to make sure that that chain CC is going to come through. Nice portal also from Nickish, roaming up the river, able to put the set in the right position. It's very hard for set to just run directly into lanes, especially when you have vision that you have to clear from such low range. Having this Bard tunnel to set up a lot of these ganks could be a difference maker when it comes to his roaming potential here.
Top lane back and forth, trading in. Rexalis looks to find himself a favorable trade and trying to poke out his counterpart, as he's already had to TP back for himself here, and will be able to heal back up with these corruption potions that he now has. To be able to make items in lane. Champ is the A-OK at the moment for us. Stench again looking for a bit of a pick here with Binding. Does not find it, but just waiting patiently. It's going to be hit up. Potential pull. There's the concussive supplies, able to keep him up. Exhaust is down, but no follow-up from there. Just use a few summoners to make sure he keeps his alive.
Yeah, really strange use of the exhaust right there from Fly. I know it was an attempt to try to keep Nickish in range for damage, but the Lucian had already walked up. The Ezreal was sitting pretty far back, and I think the trade was essentially done. And the heal had already been burnt from the Lucian at that point, so I'm not sure it was the best idea to use the exhaust. At minimum on the Bard, you could have maybe used it on the Lucian as a way to all in. Nice Q there. Catch him on that one.
As you come on mid lane party again, going to favor the one for the Aqualix just walks up. Almost it's auto attack rate high. He is hovering around patiently at he might actually to him again there, but Ezreal going at least off spawn TP to get himself right back in his lane if he wishes, but in the mid lane here doesn't look like it's going available as it has not been thrown. A lot of damage. You're able to respond with some healing with the Conqueror, but you can feel the pressure and the presence just from this Echo matchup here right now.
That you can. Now, again, later on in this laning phase, when the Cassiopeia starts to get a little more damage and doesn't have only the Corrupting Potion and the Doran's Ring to deal with, if you're able to trade back enough damage, the Miasma can go down late instead of early as a way of denying the ultimate from Echo, which is a huge trading tool if you get the damage off early enough here from Vivier. So when that starts to happen, that would be a great place to start for this Cassiopeia to springboard back into the game in terms of the 1v1. But at this point, Montuez, he has this Hextech Revolver, will be building into the Proto Belt. When he's got that, he has more than enough wave clear to start roaming around the map. And that's when he and this set can start to work their way through some of this jungle, try to get aggressive onto Castle, potentially in the jungle as well. And if Bar is able to roam alongside them, put them into a great position without having to use any of that mobility they've got, that's a perfect way to set up a lot of ganks that will be very successful.
Definitely will be. 1K gold lead built up here, 7 minutes in. Revere's going to grab himself the blue buff, and that's going to be big, as he needs to just try and sustain the best he possibly can right in towards the mid lane. Of course, having the extra mana to do so will be very beneficial for him at the moment. Waiting to set up the next play here. The Bard's now able to start moving around the map. We're starting to see it. It was already what resulted for that first blood there for us, as we're going to see now Ramiro goes right up to Rex Dallas, finds a very aggressive trade. Conqueror procced as he trades right back onto him here, but Ornn very safe and sound, and actually has himself built up a fairly decent CS lead despite going in towards this Silas matchup.
Yeah, the low-range trading here from Rick Salas. Of course, you don't want to be in this Ornn's face pretty much at any point. If the trades come through, the W should be some reprieve for Rick Salas, but he's never really going to win these trades, and this poke trading is really what's winning the lane for the Ornn. So if you're going to make it a trade, you got to make it a longer trade in which the Silas can get out more damage and use the W to get back up health rather than just taking poke damage like the Q, like the W, and then not getting anything.
We look to go for a play on towards the jungle. Building up around the dragon seems to be the play at the moment here for us, as the air dragon is going to be up for the taking. We saw a lot of those dragons be contested and fought over there in towards game number 1. This time around, though, this should just be an easy pickup going over, and there it is. Nice dragon coming in for the side of Humber Hawks. I'm waiting patiently. Walks up to the tunnel, is going to go the distance, and now Fly has to jump away, but the jumper throws him right back into the mix, and that Supply's picking up his first kill of the game.
Really nice Bard portal, able to get them into a fantastic position to get behind the Brum, so that even if he jumps back to the Ezreal, not going to be able to get anything there. Not to mention they burn the Ezreal slash trying to get away, so they don't burn 2 kills there off the back of that one little play. And the Dragon, of course, going the way of Hummer. So their early game, again, looking good, but it's a lot cleaner of an early game. There are no mistakes coming through Aqualix that they're just punishing. This is looking more like setup plays from the side of Hummer that they're actually taking advantage of, which is a much better look when it comes to what kind of advantage they're generating. Top side of the map is also getting pressured here. They have a rotation from the Ezreal and the Braum for the Rift Herald. That's likely what we're going to see contention over here.
Oh, Call the Forge got stolen away with the hijack, but Remu's going to be the first one to use it. Could just find a solo kill. He does. He's in a 1v3 total. Now a 1v2, as that's a very nice tempered fade. The stun lands perfect. Cosmic Binding. Fly is going to be taken down. No, he's going to survive. Somehow, some way, manages to slip out there. Echo is in, looking to find some kind of a trade. Finds him with the back end of the Time Winder, and that is a 1-for-1 in the top lane.
Yeah, ends up being, I think, a 2-for-1, all things said. No, yeah, just a 1-for-1, all things said and done. But fantastic little play setup there on the top side. Able to push out Ezreal, so no damage dealer. Cassiopeia also pretty weak. So now should be priority on this Rift Herald here. Montuez also getting some plates down in the top lane to set up potentially a Rift Herald play immediately. Burn quite a bit of the health off this top lane tower. Ball came through.
got to pause, got to settle down after all that action going through there for us finally in towards this game number 2. And looks like we did get a little bit of a jungle DC, but we're right back in towards the action, so not too much of a delay there for us at the moment, as we're going to see some plating at least go over towards the mid laner here on the side of the Hawks. And top bot lane, though, Supplies is going to have to force out that flash. Does not want to get hit with the call of the Forge God there that was hijacked away there from Rexalis.
That it was. Doesn't want to die to that one, especially after all the advantage he's gained. The Echo, or my apologies, the Ezreal and the Braum are still on the top side of the map, responding to the Echo. And this is really, really big. Okay, so Fly tries to get a flank here. I don't think he's really going to get anything, nothing major. And Ornn is here to potentially look for the fight. And again, 2 plates roughly remaining on this top tower, which means if Rift Herald's dropped here, that's pretty much going to break. That's just going to be the entire tower gone, which would be a huge trade. They could also drop it on bottom side, depending on where the pressure needs to lie. Right now, it's the Lucian in the solo lane. Echo could rotate down there as well.
And Aesthetic, at the moment here, he's fairly low, sitting on quite a bit of gold, so we expect him maybe to go for a reset. There it is. Now coming back on towards the map there with a shortened recoil due to having the Earth Trail, of course, in his inventory and up and available for himself. But you mentioned it, there's a lot of options available at the moment. On top of that, we also have a second Drake of the game coming here for us. Will be an Ocean up in about 2 minutes and 5 seconds here roughly. So that is going to be another opportunity. Could even wait to drop the Rift Trail to start playing around that objective here, but there's still first tower gold up and available. And while already having themselves a 2,000 gold lead sitting here for the Hawks, they're in a very favorable position here early on, again in towards game 2.
That they are perfectly able to command pretty much anything they want. This Bard has been out in the river doing anything he can to try to disrupt vision control, any sort of advantage that might be able to be had by Aqualix. Braum is set now on the bottom side of the map. If they want to look for a play here, they could portal in with Bard behind this team. Eventually look for a Rift Herald drop. Ultimate comes through.
Tempered Fate doesn't hit its mark. Fly closes the gap. He is going to be out, and they're unable to make the gank work here. Castle also nearby just in case they were going to go for any kind of an overextension under the tower here. Rexalis goes in the top lane, but he's going to soon meet what is Ornn, as he is not able to trade very effectively whatsoever into this champion.
Yeah, and again, I don't think the W should come out that early in these duels from Rexalis. I think he needs to use them a lot later in the fight to get a little bit more healing and more damage out. Actually, Castle in a really rough position now. Be able to walk out of that one, thankfully. But still, again, this roaming little death squad with this Bard and this set means that they can reposition him, put him into a great place for any team fight they're looking for. And again, he wants to throw this Rift Herald down somewhere. I would have thought he wanted to make a play towards the bottom side, weren't able to crack that one because of Castle's defense. So maybe looking to rotate towards the top side if they can catch Castle in a rough position. They can try to drop that Rift Herald in optimal situations so that they can get as many plates and as much tower damage as possible.
And they're going to have to watch for that. Echo is pinging up in the top lane like they want to set up a play here around Rexalis. He is only level 9, level down here to Remu. And there is the knockup. Actually, nice dodge from him, but he gets pulled right back in. Call the Forge God lands and connects. He is going to use the Chrono Break with the hijack, and he gets himself out. Revere now looking for some kind of a trade, but can't press forward any further. Castle also going to find the Echo. Passive now picked up for him. He's going to use that Chrono Break himself. Gets himself out of harm's way, but the Rift Herald in the bot lane, they're looking for the tower.
Yeah, going to be able to get that one pretty much for free. The Rift Herald not even necessarily needed, but they're going to be able to use it for quite a bit. Get another plate on the top side of the map as well. 30 seconds before this plate goal goes down, so really nice usage. Breaking that bottom tower, gets priority on the Dragon. They are able to, on Aqualix's side, reprieve some of the pressure that was put onto Rexalis there. Castle very, very low after that little skirmish there. And again, putting all that pressure on top side was what cost them this bottom tower and that dragon. So now 2 dragons going the way of Humber. Apologies. Maybe even the set. Or my Silas looking bad.
Yeah, this man's going to have to reset here very soon for us. He's overstaying, realizes now, but Castle, he's actually in some trouble. I don't know if he realizes how low he is, but he can just use the ultimate. Not going to engage. Maybe he was just out of that circle. Thought he was just going to go for the kill there and take the buff. Can't do so, but either way, just fighting for some of these camps now. Back and forth here for us. Resets coming back out towards the map. Getting ready and prepping. Next objective coming up will be a minute 45. That will be the second Rift Herald of the game.
That it will. Going to be I don't know how much of a pressure point it can be here from the side of Aqualix, because again, they're behind in pretty much every lane, especially that Echo being so far ahead at the moment. The two main damage dealers, of course, that Echo and that Lucian both have pretty significant advantages over their counterparts. And Ezreal being down this far means that he is really, really in a hole when it comes to his itemization. So not going to have that up for the next Rift Herald ready to fight quite yet. So might have to see that one and just try to take away any pressure they can put on the map with it as best as possible instead of just trying to fight for it and potentially losing and getting them snowballed even harder on the side of Humber.
But overall, we're seeing very similar to how game number 1 had went there for us. Humber Hawks, they were the ones that built up the early lead. They had the early advantages, and then while it was showing purely just through the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. And then they took one bad fight. They lost some members. They lost the tower, and things started to go sour pretty quickly there for them. This time around, looking to hold on towards that lead, looking to grab towers of their own. And while they're off to a great start, 2 towers now secure. The goal lead extending further and further here for us, looking at about 5,000 at 15.5 minutes.
That it is. And they're doing a good job of just continuing to push their advantage without excessively going too fast in a game, because there is plenty of potential to kind of like come back. Silas has CC and a lot of comeback potentials in fights alone. Sejuani has a lot of that return CC, and Ezreal has a lot of damage over time. So if you overextend in a fight and aren't able to get that burst out, he can certainly win. Silas may be looking for Phantom. Oh.
He is not a Bard player. That is yeah, that's an ability that you gotta throw around a few times when you're playing that champion. We're gonna see Castle. He's gonna get used right into the showstopper. Rexalis not gonna take the majority of that damage. Now a very nice stun. Castle throws it out, buys time. There is going to be the parallel convergence down, but no follow-up. Nikic now guiding out his jungler here and his mid laner, and they're just going to be able to grab themselves a little bit of damage here, but nothing else.
That they are able to get quite a bit there. Nice little engagement. Again, overextending for a play like that is how you would cost this lead if you're on the side of Humber. So I like that they're able to pull out of that before anything goes awry underneath that tower. Rexalis and Castle have that tankiness, have some sustain in their kit, have plenty of slows and CC to work with. So if you're sieging a tower under these two, you have to be very, very careful with the light step. Instead, they push them back because they got quite a bit of health damage on them. Going to net them this Rift Herald. And of course, with all the towers broken, they can look potentially to push any. So they can honestly use this best as possible as a bargaining chip for pressure around the Drake when the Drake comes up, because that would buy them a very, very good fight opportunity around 4th Drake. And that's how I would probably use it best. You're not likely... Oh, mid-tower still. My apologies. So mid-tower would be the place to use it then. And again, you can also use it, of course, as that bargaining chip for the Dragon to make sure you trade for that 3rd one so you can put pressure around the 4th one as a potential team fight generator.
Yeah, a couple options available right now for the Hawks. We're just going to see what the plan is going to be. Clearly the plan for the side of Aqualix Esports likely to probably contest this Dragon that is coming up here. So having to play around this Rift Herald is going to be very key, very important here for them, as obviously will be the 3rd one of the game. If it's secured, Fly. Oh, he's going to find Nikic as he walks right in. Flash from him. Should be able to take the blast going over the wall, and he does. So he will be able to get himself out safe and sound, but has to use that flash just to do so.
That he does. Able to get that Bard. It is difficult to get onto Bard for most of the time anyway. Burning that flash isn't the biggest steal in the world, but certainly something to note, at least in those fights. Not going to have that disengage available to him, or also just hit that level 12 mark. Is able to get the upgraded Abyssal Mask. Really good in his team because most of the damage coming through is going to be that consistent magic damage from the side of Silas, from the Cassiopeia. Even the Ezreal has quite a bit for himself there.
Well, here we go. 20 seconds on this Infernal Drake. Again, building up here. It's going to be all this anticipation, all this pressure. And right now in position is probably the majority of the members. Rexalis does have TP, so he is able to match the Echo, also able to join down himself. Keeping Rexalis busy up to the top lane is his only job at the moment, just keeping that priority in his favor. So far, so Nikic again likes to face check this Braum here. He's been doing it the entire game. Not threatened with his life by any means, but something to continue to watch out for. But there is the call. You already set up the play. Mention it here for Rebel Fox. Use that bar chip into the mid and look to trade out the pressure for this 3rd Dragon of the game. It's down to about 4,000 HP. Now about 3k. Sejuani can get into the pit. Tempered Fate uses it perfectly. Catches her in mid-dash. And there is the 3rd Dragon over to Humber Hawk. As we'll see the Braum. That's ultimate coming through there. Oh, the Forge got Castle in the middle of it all. That's finally the ultimate thrown out, but not really much will come out of it as we see Echo lining up with that phase dive. Can't find a target to jump onto, but they've already got the Dragon. Already found one. Petrifying game. The 4-man into the Glacial Augment. Able to do so much damage. Nothing can be done, but they have no damage to follow up. They find the perfect combo with that with the ultimate and the petrifying gaze, but it does not matter. And there is the finish from Aztec as the ace is gonna come in at 19 minutes.
Too far down is the side of Aqualix right now. You saw it right there. A phenomenal engage from Vivier combined perfectly in that fight. And it meant nothing because there's too much of a gold lead, too much damage and response coming through from the side of Humber. And again, that perfectly set up Dragon fight with the Rift Herald nets them that. Baits out one member because now there's no frontline Sejuani, which means any fight you generate has to be picture perfect, and it just wasn't because of the gold disadvantage. Great job for Humber. They have absolute control. 10,000 gold lead at this point, even higher than their opposition had last game. And they've got the triple Drake. So at absolute minimum, if they deny everything else in the rest of the game, if they fight around this fourth dragon, they're either going to be able to win that fight with this 10,000 gold advantage, or they're going to get that fourth Drake, and they're going to have plenty of agency in the game with that Infernal Soul.
Boy, oh boy, did that look good for a moment, but there was no damage available and up. And now 10, almost 10,000 here. More like 9, I guess, at the moment here for us, but it was just close towards that 10K mark. Baron live has been for the last minute. Instantly, we see Bard walk in, clear out this vision that was just laid down here for some of the members of Aqualix Esports. And this is just beautifully done all around the board at the moment. This looks like a totally different team. Refreshed, regained, different composition. And well, it is showing so far. And they're on track to get us to that game number 3 here, Rebel Fox.
That they are. Certainly feels like they have plenty. Oh, the echo.
Very nice prediction.
Gotta be kidding. What the heck is that? Just sitting in that side rush. You can't expect that if you're the Ezreal, and no real defenses to work with on this side. The Ezreal has been bullied in both games. I feel like the Ezreal has done nothing in either one of these games. And both times, so far at least, it's losing in this game and lost last game. So maybe both teams just decide, hey, no Ezreal for the next series.
Yeah, maybe no Ezreal whatsoever. And right now, Call of the Forge God's used. They're looking for the dive here. Rexalis is the target. He does hijack the Call of the Forge God for himself, so he will use his own, but there will be the showstopper. Lock him in place. The Static finishes off the kill, goes on a rampage, takes down kill number 4. Flies on in, but he's going to regret that decision as he now has to back away with his tank. And while all that happening, we got the split in the bot lane, so protect his mid laner here. Just looking picture perfect at the moment for the side of the Hawks.
That is doing great, able to push out Rexalis, hasn't been able to get anything on this Silas pick quite yet. Not even going to be able to deny this tower. Another fight's going to come through.
Fisher already going one.
Oh,
this one stops, but the flash afterwards pop. Cassiopeia, other 2 members now, they're all coming up separate death times here, and things looking rough as we saw that now extend even further here for the side of Humber Hawks.
Yeah, it's really, really rough now for Humber Hawks. They can't find any advantage anywhere. Their lane assignments aren't able to net them anything. I'm pretty sure in any 1v2 situation, someone from the side of Humber is able to get quite a bit. My apologies, I think I said Humber earlier. It was Aqualix that's in a rough situation because Humber, again, they feel like they can take pretty much any 1v2 with any champion they've got and just dominate. And if they can't, they can always rotate somebody like Nishis or Aesthetic to try to get it. Ooh, over the rim.
Oh my God, that was close. Showstopper finishes off the Sejuani. I thought for a moment, for a second, there could have been a steal. There was quite the disadvantage, I believe, in levels. But good smite from Aesthetic, able to secure that, lock his team down, the Baron buff.
That is able to get that one. Now, I don't know if I like this. Yeah, okay, I like this a lot better. I want to see the instant reset here from the side of Humber, because then they can work out their lanes afterwards, so they can spend all this gold they got in their pockets, work out mid and bottom lane as far out as they would like, and then come back to the Drake to be able to confirm it for themselves. Absolutely. They have a 15,000 gold lead, 3 Drakes in their pocket already, insanely strong pretty much across the board. It's feeling very, very much like there's nothing that can be done by Aqualix to win this game.
Nothing that can be done at the moment here. Man, things looking so good. And now it's just about closing it out as fast as possible. Get yourself towards game number 3. As we'll see them already walking towards the opposing jungle, set up this vision here. But we have that 4th dragon coming up. This would be the Soul Dragon, and of all Infernal Dragon. So you know well, he wants to get himself close to the pit, but they even want to try and get in. They just go for the Harry with the true, but it does not its mark. And well, there it is. 4 dragons, Infernal Soul locked in here for the Humber Hawks.
Yeah, Really nice. I like the buff take here from the Lucian, although what I really want to see is, I don't even know that I want to see the split push here. I kind of just want to see the straight up 5-on-5, just the straight up ARAM here from the side of Humber, because they have the way stronger composition. They have plenty of ways to engage from a very far distance with the ore and things like that. So you want as many members clumped up as you can to try to get that engage onto as many people as possible. That would be the ideal situation, and that's what they're kind of sticking to here. They have the Echo on the side lane just kind of pushing away. He's the one member that doesn't necessarily need to be here, but I would like to see all 5 members clumped up as best as possible. Rotate to bot lane now. Try to take what they can and look for a fight. Ooh.
There it is. Showstopper ready to Cassiopeia. She's taken down. She might even be deleted, but she makes it out for now. That is the call. The 4 knocks up. If you remember, that fate is also a couple. Middle of it all. Down. Used, but does not find its spot. Again with the... There it is. Double. Collected now for the Echo. Now 3 total. Well, now we're going to see Humber knocking on the door as they're looking to force that game.
That they are. Should be very easy for them to clean up now. It's something big I actually didn't realize through most of the game, but I was trying to keep track of it loudly. Fly really wasn't great at using the Braum Shield to deny the Ornn active. And again, with that long-range engage and the Tempered Fate, you just have so much. That last Ornn ultimate able to knock up 3 people, set up a huge dive there for Aesthetic on this on the set pick, to be able to get onto the Cassiopeia and the Ezreal, push all the damage, any opportunity they would have had to fight back there, just completely out of the fight, and they just worked their way front to back from that point. Phenomenal setup here from the side of Humber. Much different and much better than they had in the first series, or first game, my fault.
Man, oh man, beautifully done. You got to look at doing something for as far as changing up the draft here for game number 3, because it was just beautiful all around the board. And what we've seen now, both teams able to play themselves a pretty good, clean game once it transitions in towards that mid game there for us. So overall, very nicely done. But we got to look at, for as far as this game number 3, because now we've seen 2 different compositions able to pull off wins here for us, Rebel Fox. And now it's really the question about what we're going to get going in towards this draft, heading in towards game 3.
Yeah, it seems to me like the early pressure has now gone 2 times in a row to the side of Humber. Game 1, they overstepped, overplayed it, and then were punished with a superior team fighting composition coming through from the side of Aqualix. In this game, it felt like they just ran over the side of Aqualix, and they just kept going for as long as they wanted, and there's nothing stopping them because they didn't have that same hiccup. Drafting is a big issue. First off, I didn't like the Sylas top lane. Didn't think it was great into pretty much anything. It was an okay pick, but it was nothing great. Cassiopeia got bullied out very early on, didn't feel phenomenal either, and there's no good burst damage, so if Cassiopeia and Ezreal don't get to those item spikes fast enough, this team fight takes way too long, and you have more than enough to fight with if you've got the Echo, the Lucian. I want to see a little more instantaneous damage, a little more instantaneous engage from the side of Aqualix, and that team fight that they can kind of fight back with early in the game. On the opposite side, keep that high tempo composition rolling for that early game, and just try to run through the side of Aqualix for the side of Humber.
That's right. And well, we'll see exactly what they will change up, what they'll do going in towards that game number 3. For now, guys, we're going to throw it to a short break, get game 3 set up here for us, and find out who's going to take the cake, who's going to get themselves the very first win heading in towards this week number 2 for the Risen Champs League. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am the one and only Hypertension, joining Rebel Fox on the cast for Visions, who is having some technical issues. Thanks a lot, Discord, for absolutely boning us there, and boning my good buddy Visions. Rebel, how are we doing, and what the heck is going on with this game?
Yeah, so game one, Aqualix took it. It was some early aggression from the side of Humber. They were able to get some nice early plays coming through, but Aqualix was able to kind of abate that pressure they had early and took it with a very superior team fighting composition. Game two, they try to come back with another team fighting composition, but get run over by a much better drafted composition from Humber. I do think draft has kind of determined the way these games are going to go, so it's going to be very important to see what gets picked, what gets banned here.
Yeah, and I do like the bans thus far from both of these teams. The only one that sticks out to me is a little bit odd is the Talia, but they do lock that first pick. Ornn does Aqualix. I'm surprised to see that they have a team because I was under the impression that they didn't have any teams anymore after a situation that happened with a team now known as Issues Critical, but it appears that they do have one still in Risen, and I'm happy to see them back, see what they can do as an organization, because we never got to see what they could do in other leagues.
We did able to lock that Ornn in for themselves. Feels pretty nice. Last game they had to play up against it top side, and it was pretty rough to deal with, especially as that Silas pickup. So have that flexibility also to take it into the mid lane if absolutely necessary. Lucian, first pick from Humber. Game one, they went the Ezreal. Didn't work out. Game two, the Lucian was much better. Didn't have a massive impact on the game, but certainly felt much stronger in the laning phase.
Well, there you go. And now we are going to take a look to see what exactly is going to develop for the rest of this draft. The Aurelia pick. Aurelia kind of okay right now. Not the meta pick she used to be. Not this world beater that we've seen in previous years. In previous months.
Mm-hmm. Interesting to see. I don't know if that's the potential counter into the Ornn, no matter which lane he's going in. That's the only thing I can think is if they're comfortable taking Aurelia into that matchup and have more than enough mobility to kind of dance around what the Ornn's trying to do with his damage output. Especially with no other information available to them. That has to be the thought there. Gragas taken as well. Try to set up a lot of team fight here from the side of Aqualix. It's a little more early pressure than that Sejuani has brought them in the first two games. Caitlyn going to be the final pick here.
Yeah, and with that, Caitlyn, you do have a lot of laning power, but at the same time, you risk a lot of your mid-game power spike, which can be a very pivotal point in the game at the moment, particularly when you have that Ornn, who is now one of the earlier spiking tanks in terms of their late-game potential. It can be a really dangerous situation to have something like this pick, especially into a champion that is so good at helping these carries burst down these squishies in the Sejuani.
Correct. Plenty of dive also. Sejuani and Aurelia both good at doing something like that. So it's possible. I've seen Grasp Caitlyn kind of pop up as the option for the rune choice if you want to go super defensive, as it allows you access to that resolve tree entirely. And so I would kind of expect that to come through this game. And defensive support could come through as well, just to absolutely hammer that down. Morgana, Braum taken away. We'll see another support taken away from that Lucian to make sure there's no synergy. The Bard.
I would have liked to see the Aatrox taken away. I know he's really powerful right now, and he's one of the few champions that can actually go well into Ornn in this meta. And I believe, isn't new Sunfire on this setup?
Yeah, new Sunfire.
It's on this patch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's yet another item. It's like you need someone that can really be able to take on, but overall, I think only the Aatrox really shows that potential right now in terms of being the Ornn. Whoa!
I love
Rebel Fox, before you say anything else, what is rule 1 of League of Legends?
Don't chase Singed.
Never chase Singed.
Never chase Singed. And I mean, I guess there's a composition setup that you don't really have the ability to chase Singed since no one has the mobility to run away. But that's a little interesting of a counter pick into the Ornn. I like it a lot because Singed can proxy farm to get out of a bad lane matchup, and Ornn is a pretty good lane matchup for anybody. So if he feels confident in the lane, he can take it directly to the Ornn, but if he doesn't, he can go off and proxy farm, which is really, really interesting strategy to come through. I didn't see it in his match history, though, so I don't know how much Singed he has practiced right now.
Well, in addition to that, the Singed actually has two really good ways to interrupt the call of the Forge God. But most people don't realize that Singed, I believe it's his W now, is, I'm going to get to that in a second, it is a ground effect, so you cannot use the second half of the Ornn ultimate while inside of it, and his flip does also interrupt that. Now, at Revel, I heard you gasp, we have a freaking Zed, and I'm not talking about the letter, I'm talking about the ninja.
Vivier is an assassin player by heart. He's all AD assassin. I've been waiting for this all series. Finally get it game 3. He's going to bust it out, and he's going to try to put this team on his back. Blitzcrank was the grab in the bottom lane, so a ton of aggression all over. I love it. It's so high aggression early from both teams, and it's very
so
snowballing.
spicy.
So
I love
nice.
it.
So good. I love it. Finally, again, these two teams, it felt like they were reserving so much in some of these drafts, and finally everything kind of breaks loose at once to give us very high mobility, very good team fighting, and a lot of pick potential on both sides to make this an explosive matchup.
Yeah, and now with that what am I trying to say? It does create a very explosive situation there for this game, this pivotal game 3 that will decide the series. Looking at it, I see a much better win condition on the side of Humber, I believe, because you do have that early to mid scale. I apologize. That better focus in terms of the early to mid scaling. You have a better translation to the late game, because Zed does fall off pretty hard, especially with the introduction of stopwatch into the game, and now with Guardian Angel being around, especially with a Blitzcrank sitting on top of a Lucian and an Aurelia. All he has to do is pop that electric field, and then the Zed cannot go back to his shadows.
Yeah, that is the case. Certainly has plenty of CC to deny that Zed going back. In my opinion, Humber has a lot of ways to kind of, try to make their own plays in the laning phase. They have the Blitzcrank Lucian bot lane. They have the Aurelia for a lot of potential outplay. The Singed in his own right can help deny a lane pressure into that Ornn as well. So there's plenty of little tools here and there across all lanes, and the Sejuani should feel fine just farming away if these lanes have that dominance. So to me, Aqualix, they're going to be relying a lot on Castle here to try to put them into a much better situation. If they got this jungler and he's in a great place to be able to gank and try to prevent some of this aggressive play from the side of Humber, they could take all that down. I don't know that their composition does particularly fantastic late game outside of the Caitlyn, but they do have plenty of pick tools and plenty of team fighting with the Gragas, the Ornn, the Thresh, and the Caitlyn. If she can work her way front to back without getting dived by the Aurelia, by the Singed, by the Blitzcrank, could absolutely work their way through the fight.
Absolutely. And looking at this, who do you think is going to be the player to really watch for, to really track what they're doing? Because for me, I haven't seen previous games, but I only know one of these players, and that's Matayush.
I'm sorry, who did you say you knew? I didn't hear it.
Matayush.
Matayush. I don't know who that is.
The mid laner for Humber.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't realize that was the case. Yeah, he has been. Yeah, my apologies. He's been doing a fantastic job through most of the series. Game 1 was actually really good from Vivier, but the individual 1v1 matchup has not really been won by Vivier. It was in Game 1, it was kind of a wash, and then Vivier just kind of picked up what he could afterwards. Game 2, that was just the absolute dominance against him. So that was really, really good from Matayush, and whatever. I think that's how you pronounce it. My apologies.
That is correct. That was actually really good for only hearing it like twice.
Exactly. Phenomenal.
It took me weeks to learn that guy's name. Back when he was on Azio Black back in I want to say that was 2018. It was like mid 2018. Yeah, and the very first Player One Esports tournament. I remember he was playing top lane for Azio Black, and it was really, really hard to figure out saying his name, especially because I was a color at the time. So it was like I had to say it so often because he was one of the star players. And now looking at this scene again, damn nostalgic.
Yeah, in that 1v1, he has been an absolute terror. On the last game, he was on the Echo, and now you've got Aurelia, another similar champion to do that with. So keeping your eye on him, he's somebody that can like break open the laning phase for everybody if he gets ahead. So if he has control of the lane over the Zed, he can break it loose in the bottom lane by getting aggressive there. He can help the Singed out in that 1v1. Plenty of places that the Aurelia can go with Sejuani to try to generate pressure. On the other side, Rexalis has been a big part. In Game 1, he was a massive part of the win. In Game 2, he was shut down and they had no options to go with. So it's tough not to keep an eye on Rexalis. But also, it's so hard not to say, keep an eye on Zed. This is Vivier. He plays all AD assassins. This is his best AD assassin. And this is Game 3 of the series that they're looking to win to make sure that they have momentum coming into the rest of the series. He's putting the team on his back with his best champion. And I gotta say, the mid lane matchup is going to be spicy in this one with the two assassins, and then also with the way that the two lanes have played out already. I'm super excited to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, as am I, but I do believe we're going to go to a short spectator delay production if you confirm or deny what I'm saying. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back onto Summoner's Rift. It is Game 3 of the series in the Risen Champions League. It is Aqualix. It is the Humber Hawks. We are here. I am Hypertension, joined by Rebel Fox. You know who these players are. Let's get it started with a cheeky level 1 engage by the side of Humber.
We actually saw this in the first game, and it was a great punish. They were able to kill Leash off spawn after burning his flash as well. Doesn't look like they're not gonna get him twice on this one. Caitlyn throws the ward down, and they're gonna be able to spot the wall. Nice. They learned from game 1. Aqualix not gonna get punished.
Wait, they fell for it game 1?
Yeah, game 1 it was an Aphelios, and they didn't have the same pick champion, but they had a Zoe and they had something else, a Thresh as well. And they ran into bottom try. He flashed the wall after getting Zoe bubbled, and they still found the hook and killed him afterwards. Didn't get punished this time. Was Leash off spawn, thankfully. Learned his lesson from that first
So wait, it was Leash off spawn who got caught by that?
Yeah, Leash off spawn got caught.
Leash off
got
spawn.
Zoe
Rule
bubbled.
2 of League of Legends: never stick around in the tri-bush when the opposing team has Thresh. I would say it has a freaking Blitzcrank.
That's fair.
Well, actually, no. I think Rule 2 of League of Legends might be don't chase Nidalee.
Don't chase Nidalee. Now that's an interesting.
Yeah, don't chase Nidalee in the jungle because of the bushes giving her
Rule 2 of League was don't play Teemo. That was...
no.
Or is that just like the underlying rule that everybody
That's
understands, but you don't have to say it?
There's only like 10 rules to League of Legends. One of the, I would say number 1 being don't chase Singed. Number 2 is it's always the jungler's fault. Oh yeah, it was always the jungler's fault. Number 3 is always blame lag. I'll have to look up the rest.
I like the one that's like, if your mid laner's losing, then he's going to lose blue buff, so you can't give it to him. But if he's winning, then he doesn't need blue buff, so you also don't give it to him. So junglers should always just get blue buff.
Oh yeah, I know what rule 1 in Korea is. If the jungler takes the blue buff, you have every right to int.
That's fair. Perfectly acceptable. That's how I handle most of my games.
Yeah, I was watching your Clash games last night using a guinea pig for some stream assets. I've seen how you play.
Yeah, pretty awful. That's for sure.
You could be worse.
3 CS per minute on Ornn in that first game at least.
Okay, I didn't see that one. Jeez.
Thank God you didn't see that one. That was just awful performance. Woo.
And it was, speaking of not awful, Fly managing to land the death sentence onto Aesthetic. He takes an absolute chunk, and now that's going to be the Frost Armor broken here for a little bit. Good roams out, spotting out where the jungler is, giving more information over to Castle.
Yeah, Fly's done a really good job this series of actually finding out on the bottom side when Aesthetic has been around in their... The last game he was a little bit rough about it, but game 1 he was phenomenal. Oh, that hook!
What a hook coming in. Fly has to eat the ignite and a tower shot after that, and he has to burn his flash and leash off Spawn's heal. That's a big hook there by Nickish.
Yeah, phenomenal hook in the middle of a wave too. Usually when you're playing against Blitzcrank, you want to stack your wave and push it into his tower so that it seems counterintuitive that you don't want to get hooked under tower, but if you have a wave there, you have a much better opportunity to hide or duck in between minions so you don't get hooked. But Nickish able to find that play even through that minion wave, so really, really nice play there for him.
And look in the mid lane, it looks like Matayush going in for a fight. Viebre Mori, I'm just going to call him Mori from now on. He's getting chased down by Hawkery and Aesthetic, but they were nowhere even close. But that is still going to be a flash out of Matayush.
I don't think that Q actually landed on the end after the shadow, and if he had hit that, I think it might have been enough damage to take him down to 0 health. Would have been a great kill for Vivier, even through that gank from the Singed and the Sejuani. So phenomenal little play to start with. Looks a lot different. Again, neither laning phase has really gone the way of Vivier through most of what we've seen in the first 2 games, but that looked very, very impressive from him. Has a little bit of wave pile, has basically an entire lane lead, and now burnt the flash of his lane opponent, so could potentially look for more aggression, especially that level 6 mark.
Yeah, and the weird part right now for me is this matchup between Irelia and Zed. When you do put the death mark down, that's kind of the moment where you want, where you kind of want to use the I don't remember the name of the Irelia W off the top of my head, unfortunately. It's not an ability that I usually caught in fights, so I don't remember it. But you tend to want to either use it for that or use it for when the electrocute is going to pop.
is the case.
So it's going to be tricky to see if he knows that timing there. Look at the damage coming out onto Rexalis here. That's a lot of poison. And remember, you don't follow Singed, you don't chase Singed, you don't lane against Singed. Ooh. Here we go, fighting in the mid lane. That Zed is so low. One more auto attack will do it. Matayush picks up first blood. Fly now having to run away as he knows that he is outnumbered and outgunned here. That's just going to be the 1-for-0 thus far. Hook landing, but Fly will bite the dust first. The tower targets Aesthetic.
Yeah, feels pretty bad. One tower shot would have been more than enough to kill Matayush.
Good flash body slam into the Q to kill off Matayush. That's a shutdown there by Castle. Now he's going to try and see if he can chase down Aesthetic. Both of them do have a movement ability. The question is which will come up first. It's going to be the body slam. That's going to be the Q for the kill. Castle gets his second of that exchange. But on the flip side, Supplies is the one who makes Leash Off Spawn die.
No heal for Leash Off Spawn from that earlier trade, so Supply is able to just walk out for free under tower. I gotta give some appreciation. Castle, that E-Flash was just about perfect. Like, seriously, any later on the Flash, he probably would have hit the Sejuani or the minion wave, and any earlier, he would have not hit anybody also to play here, potentially.
That was the second cleanest Flashy I've ever seen a Gragas do.
Very, very good.
The only one that I saw better is that legendary I Will Dominate Flashy. Like, the Gragas Flashy.
Mm-hmm. Made it very famous for a lot of people to know.
Because like that angle that Dom got on that one was just, that is just one of the most visually satisfying plays in the history of League of Legends.
I mean, I was, like I said, that was Dom's, and then even just seeing that one was just absolutely gorgeous because he was instantaneously on top of Montuez, and he did a phenomenal job doing so. So a good punishment there. Dragon is started up by the side of Aqualix here.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take off that Cloud Drake, but it's just the Cloud Drake. They're going to lose Fly for it. His second death of the game. Rex, he's in there. The question is, will he know to W at just the right point? Wait, what? I thought it was coded as a dash.
I don't know if the W is down there at all.
It was. It showed the thing of grounded.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what happened because I know Miasma does the exact same thing, and that's a grounded ability as well. So it's possible. Maybe it was towards the tail end of the ability. That's the only thing I could think, and it was starting to expire. Entirely possible. I tried the very end.
That to check because I could have sworn. I know that Singed Pool has a grounded effect.
That it does.
I could have sworn that Ornn's ultimate second cast
Fly's here.
No, I would say, and I don't think he missed it. If he did, maybe I'm just going crazy, but the grounded effect appeared to be on, and now he's chasing Singed. It's going to be a flash away from Rimu.
Yeah, nice little use there. Again, Fly's been all around the map once again, finding pretty much every engagement he can. They're going to invade here, though. Leash Off Spawn is up here. Again, trying to get to the Rift Herald.
Ooh, that's going to be an explosive cast, but it's not really going to do anything to anyone. Now Castle taking a lot of damage. He's going to be the first one to die. Deathmark is down onto Matayush. Nickish is in no man's land. Has to flash out away. Searing Charge going to knock up Aesthetic, who gets hit up by those brittle procs. Permafrost not able to help him there. He doesn't put enough down onto Rexalis. One more auto attack, and then he can stun the Ornn, but it doesn't look like he wants to. He's just going to flash Antarctic Assault out of the way.
Yeah, all things said.
Oh,
I don't know.
wait, Fly now.
They're all there
for more. Here comes Rimu. They do have Rimu there, so this is going to be huge. Into the poison does go Fly. Nickish does bite the dust first. Fly goes second. Now Lead Off Spawn is gonna die here to Aesthetic. That's another kill for the jungler of Humber, of the Humber Hawks, and this means that they now possess a 3,000 gold lead.
Wasn't really going that terribly from the side of Aqualix, and they just get way over aggressive trying to invade and try to kill Aesthetic. They were able to get one kill for the Caitlyn specifically, but unfortunately it's just not worth the trade in that regard. Also, that top lane fight, a lot of abilities, a lot of summoners potentially spent on both sides, and really nothing gained, nothing lost. So you would have taken that absolutely. Rift Herald priority was also in their favor. They could have looked for that, not going to be able to get that now, and Grog is on his lonesome, won't be able to handle it. Blitzcrank's still around, so it just kind of a rough play from Aqualix. They went too far with their bot lane and a little too aggressive. They wanted the bot lane, the Rift Herald priority. They had it completely, but now they gave it up because of that just overextension there from Fly and Leash Off Spawn. The hook.
And
Oh, they have a ward. They know he's there.
Yeah, they know he's there, but he doesn't know that they're there. It looks like he's just waiting there. That's gonna be the hook, and now it's time to cook them. A dead man being the Thresh. He flipped him out of the poison though, so not exactly the best move there. They're still probably just gonna get this kill here. They're trying to make sure that either Aesthetic or Remu gets it. It's gonna be Aesthetic picking it up. So that's yet another kill over to the side of the Humber Hawks.
Yeah, making these plays early on again in the laning phase. It's very simple for Nichish to be able to try to generate some of these individual plays, and that ward in the lane, you usually don't expect wards like that to come through. Fly just standing on top of it the entire time. Much there, so really nice. That gives them Rift Herald priority, even with the Scuddler up, and really look to contest it. Gragas might, at least he's a little far out. They're just gonna give this one up.
Yeah, and this is just a really, really easy Rift Herald. It's just going to be even more advantage to this already 3,500 gold lead before 11 minutes. This game is so far looking really good for the Humber Hawks. You said it was a stop in game 1 for Aqualix. Well, now Humber Hawks are like, okay, playtime's over. It's time to game.
This is very bad. Way overextended.
Here comes the side of the Humber Hawks. That's going to be the Glacial Prison landing onto Leash off spawn. One dies for their efforts, but they pick up 2 kills for Remu. That's a 2-0-3 singed.
Yeah, able to do quite a bit of damage. Singed able to get both those kills, so he puts himself in a fantastic position. Way overextension. We're able to get the kill on the Blitzcrank, thankfully, just to get something back in their pockets. But this bot lane has been punished over and over again in this game, and I don't know if that's going to come through. It hasn't even been supplies at all. He's essentially just been a side laner in this one, while they've used the combination of all the CC that can come through from Blitzcrank and Singed just to continuously pick these two over and over again.
Yeah, and one really good thing about this Herald is it will secure first tower gold, and it's going into the pockets of 2 of the most essential members here. These 2 tanks that are going to be nearly impossible to kill here, being Remu and Aesthetic. They have so much tank stats already, and they're just going to be getting even more, especially with lead off spawn going down 1-3, and Mori being a Zed. There's not going to be much ability to shred through these bad boys.
Wow, I don't think I've ever actually seen that before. Nichish, he pulls the Scuddler over the wall, which I have seen. I've never seen somebody body block it so it stays in the jungle like that. That was pretty funny. Really safe way to take that Scuttle crap too. I've never thought of using an ability like that before. Nice auto.
Supplies does have to flash and use the Relentless Pursuit. Mori burns the death mark, but he manages to get out. Oh, another hook onto Leash off spawn, and he's going to get leashed by Nickish for supplies. Now Remu chasing off 3 members. This is the danger of that Singed at the moment. Right now, this game is all in the favor of Humber Hawks.
Is Castle tries to throw in a barrel. Maybe we'll look for this. Yeah, they're going to... Oh! I thought maybe he'd have the damage, but he doesn't. Just barely.
Not quite. He was just too much.
That's a shame. Yeah, again, Humber Hawks, they've been playing around their vision insanely well, utilizing this Blitzcrank. He's just bush camping against everybody.
It's not that. It's the fact that it's an Ocean Rift. If this Ocean Soul is secured by the side of Humber Hawks, I don't see a realistic way that Aqualix can win this game because of the fact that they rely so much on burst. If they don't get the kill, that's going to be so much regen to just negate everything that the Zed or the Caitlyn just did on the side of Humber.
Not to mention, again, with all the pick tools, with like the Blitzcrank, the Singe, the Sejuani, and all that. Oh, no!
Here we go again. This is basically the 3rd verse, the same as the first 2. The flip, the kill over to Remu, and he's going to survive.
So close. Almost able to make the outplay happen. The grounded did deny him the W, which was gorgeous, but just too much damage. And I was going to talk about this again with all the pick potential, and we're back fighting on top lane. That should be shut down.
Matayush flashes in, lands the stun, gets the reset, gonna go in. I don't know if he can quite kill this Ornn yet, but there's no tower to run back to. So Rexilus is just gonna die off here before he can even complete the Searing Charge. Another kill for Matayush. He has 5.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lot of AD to his name. He just has the Trinity Force, which is a lot of burst damage, but not much else. So he just auto-attacked him to death with, I think, like 30 bonus AD from his base, which is insane. No real armor for the Ornn, of course, but again, over and over again, these pick tools being utilized onto this composition from Aqualix, and you mentioned the Ocean Drake. All these bushes has to have this team's mouth watering because of the potential that can come through from some of the surprise plays. You've seen them already take advantage of it in the side lanes when these neutral objectives become less of just like kind of like a snowball mechanic or just some extra stats you can grab, and they start becoming imperative to the win of the game for the side of Humber, and it feels like, Aqualix has to contest them. That's when they're really going to be able to use these tools effectively. And when that comes, I just don't see Aqualix having the gold yet to take the play.
And this is one thing I talked about before the game. I said, if you remember, I did say, oh wait, a lot of, as you said, big fight here, lots of damage. But Rimu actually doesn't take as much because of how bulky he is. And now look at Nickish, he's in a lot of trouble. That's going to be the hook, that's going to be the flay, body slam, ignite, and the cask will result in Castle picking up Nickish.
That it will. Nice little pick off in the mid lane onto Nickish. He's still just fishing for hooks as best he can, trying to make those plays happen. Now 3 members mid lane could be rough. Ooh.
Yeah, it's like, what is he doing? He's doing his best, but so is the side of the Humber Hawks. Aesthetic now in no man's land, wrong side of the rift. Does put the smite down on the castle to dissuade any sort of re-engage. Rimu is here though. Matayush is on one side. The Orn Horn does go wide. And you know one thing about that Orn, at this rate, I'm not even sure that the game will last long enough for any of the ornaments to come out.
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to come through either. Especially, I mean, look at the items that have been built so far, just nothing crazy. And Leashoff spawned nowhere close to that Infinity Edge yet. That would be pretty much the only item anybody has at the moment that can be upgraded. So it's already going to be difficult for him. Caitlyn actually just finished the Infinity Edge, thankfully. So that's going to be some more damage into her pocket. But
it's going to be something here, but oof.
Yeah.
That is one of those feels bad when you see the enemy support Blitzcrank hook and then use ult to deny you a blue buff. That is just one of like the highest tier BMs you can have. Saying it's like, no, piss off.
My blue buff. It's a 48-second cooldown. I mean, you can use it anytime you want for the most part. Blitzcrank's going to have it up between fights pretty much every single time. So Rift Herald priority here for this team. And they, again, all these pick tools and this extra Ocean Drake means all this extra brush, all these potential ward spots are going to buy them more than enough time. You see, they're already fishing for the play. Sejuani and Lucian, the only ones doing damage here, and there's no competition. Aqualix knows they can't keep contesting these right now. They have to try to get some sort of semblance of team fighting to happen first. Get some gold in the pocket.
Currently, they sit at a 6,500 gold deficit. And one thing people don't realize about these gold deficits, and this is something that we've actually talked before in the past, is that it's not the number that is significant. It is the percentage of the total gold that the difference equates to. Right now, there's only about 50-something thousand gold, right? Generally, anywhere over a 10% difference there is going 10% of the total gold in difference is a overwhelming lead. We're at well over that 10% mark. We're about 500 gold over the 10% mark in favor of the side of Humber. So this is a massive lead for them thus far in the game.
Yeah, absolutely being able to take that. A lot of that is in some of the champions on the top side, those bulky champions, as you said, the Singe, the Sejuani, and that makes the job of the Caitlyn, who's really the only damage dealer consistently to any of the tanks whatsoever, the only pressure that the side of Aqualix has. She's the only one, and she doesn't have the itemization to kill all this tank that she's got in front of her.
Yeah, and even this other tank here being Rexilus, he can't do a damn thing to the Singed. You can't chase him. You can't fight him. You can't kill him.
Yeah, the best you can do is just try to CS. I do like this little adaptation where Vivier, he can play this side lane kind of threat. If he's going to continue to do this, I'm curious whether he goes for this Sanguine Blade. I know that's something that Split Push can use to get some attack speed in the side lane, give them a little bit better 1v1 potential, especially against the likes of Aurelia. I don't know if that's going to be the case. The Gragas is actually hovering because he knows the play could come out.
And he's hovering. Matayush might have bitten off more than he could Q. The stun will not come out, but instead Matayush will go down. Massive shutdown into the pocket of Mori here. That's going to be the flip, not going through because of Unstoppable, by the way, by Rexilus. So overall, it's just a 1-for-0 in favor of Aqualix.
Yeah, and that tower also doing very, very good work.
Tower doing good work, but again, I say, look at Rimu.
Yeah.
Rimu can just heal up because of the Ocean Drake, and because he's got the potions, he's got that Dark Seal at 10 stacks, by the way. I hope to God he turns that into the book.
In Magi, certainly something.
I want to see the Magi Soul Stealer.
Yeah, it would be a nice little tool to have in his pocket. I would like to. I mean, they're kind of hovering around mid lane with Vivier, looking for what could potentially be a fight, looking to push up a little bit. I would like to see Vivier back in a side lane. The Ornn can certainly be played disengage or engage for a team, and putting him in the bot side does give him the priority to look for the tower once again, like he did on the top side. Has the Yumus now also, so he's unlikely to be caught, and that would get a little bit of gold back in the pockets. Of course, the 6,000 gold lead is quite a bit. Yeah, of course, that's starting to decrease. As you said, that 10% difference is really what they're looking for. And that's starting to get to, we're approaching that point. So this lead is, slowly becoming more approachable. This might be big here.
Yeah, it's becoming a lot easier for the side of Aqualix, who have got yet another hook, and this is going to be a TP that Rimu doesn't want to complete. He's going to be in the face of two people. Castle burning low. The question is, will they be able to kill him off before he kills Castle? Now they're going to try and break Rule 1. They are chasing Singe. The Glacial Prison doesn't work. Rimu outplays the 2v1 and gets the double kill.
Gorgeous flip at the end there. He was able to get the flash flip onto Zed before the Zed was able to use his W to get away. Even a fraction of a second later, W is reactivated. Zed gets away absolutely scot-free, and they could probably punish the Gragas, but the 2-for-0 able to be punished. Now, no jungler, no mid laner. All you got left is this Caitlyn and a few engaged tools, and that's not enough to pay attention to the Baron. Really low. They're looking more for the fight than anything.
That was a pixel hook.
Wow. Surprising. They were baiting so heavily for this fight afterwards that they haven't been able to actually confirm the Baron. I think that would have been a very easy thing for them to play for.
Oh no, he turned around for the hook, and this means Aesthetic is now going to be in the face of both Rexalis and Lucky. They're going in onto the mid lane tower. Let's see if the damage will come through. Aesthetic, so tanky, has the Warmogs, has the Cinderhulk, takes almost no damage whatsoever. That's going to be the tower destroyed by the Rift Herald. Searing Charge will whiff over everybody. The culling coming out. Rexalis almost dying off to the burn and the culling. He's going to run away. Rimu now, he is just running forward. His poison doing so much. 5 kills, 0 deaths on the Singe. He's got his 2 main items, and he is doing work.
That he is able to get quite a bit there. It would look like actually a pretty precarious fight for the side of Humber there. They were able to turn it pretty well. Aqualix wasn't able to get a continued kind of engagement off. And now looking for the Baron.
What? Oh, he recalled back to Shadow.
Yeah. This is going to be rough.
I had no idea what was going on there, but no, that might have been a bad timing there on the death sentence. It looks like the Baron is going to tick low. Is it going to tick down? Glacial Prison coming in. The hookup Aesthetic is on a rampage. The question is, will they turn for the fight or will they take the Baron? They're going to do both. Supplies, the only man to die thus far. Now Matayush running rampant on the back line. Double kill for him. Triple kill for him. He's going to go after Rexalis, and it looks like that they're going to chase him down, and quadra kill for my boy Matayush.
It seems so heavily like Aqualix finally figured out how they should be playing in this game. They should be stalling, allowing for Vivier to play into the side lane, using some of this Gragas pickoff to generate some income for themselves. And then their fights have actually looked a lot cleaner than they did most of the time through last game and in this game, but it's all too late. They're already down 9,000. They were down 6,000 gold. Now they're down 9,000 gold afterwards, and that gold difference is going to make a factor in that fight. If they were even in that fight, that could have been very different. Vivier hit I think multiple people with a double or triple Q. You saw a big Gragas cask in the middle of that fight. Lishoff's spawn got dove, but he had no damage. Also, if he has a little more damage, might pick off 1 extra member there, and it could have looked a lot different if they're even. But because they're not, because they lost so much early for Aqualix, I would get that one.
Oh no, the pull in, the silence. Castle takes so much damage. That Blitzcrank is just so on.
And it's stolen.
Mori, baby.
I don't know. I think it was
Mori. No, wait, that's Jerry Springer. Dang it.
It's Maury, isn't it?
Well, no, I was like, Maury doesn't have the crowd chant his name. That's Jerry. I think it's like Jerry, and I got it mixed up.
That's correct.
They both ran trash talk shows.
Yeah, but Maury, as you said, yes, stealing that one alongside Castle. Phenomenal job between those. It doesn't really do much, obviously, that Ocean Drake. All it does is stall that Ocean Soul for later, buy them a little more time.
Matayush, he's fishing, and he's going to catch him. A Zed there. That ninja, can he get it? Yeah, he's going to get out because there is no flash by Matayush. Barely survives there. Lucky might not be so lucky. That is such a tanky Sejuani there by Aesthetic, and will he finally die off? Ace in the hole takes him down. finally shutting down Aesthetic.
What happened? Like 1 second ago, this looked like a very different game. Suddenly, all of these switches start clicking for Aqualix. Again, it might too little too late, but they're certainly putting up a lot of fight here. Aurelia coming into the fight.
Nickish going low.
Go down. Trying to give it to Leash off spawn now. Ooh. Oh, what?
No, now Matayush taking so much damage. Shut down too. I mean, you know, our producer said that he wanted them so that he wanted the side of Humber to win quickly so that way he can play Clash. I'm sitting here thinking, no, you have to sit here, you have to produce this. No Clash for you. Instead, you just get Crash, as this game is going to crash for longer and longer and longer, my man.
What is happening? Like I said, Aqualix, and like I said, all out of nowhere, like 5 minutes ago, this whole game just started to seem clicking for them. And yeah, they're at this massive deficit. They're somehow making it work. Now Singe looking to try to turn the face of the fight.
Yeah, here we go. This is another fight coming in, and Fly gonna die off first. Rimu is running after. He's a madman running down the rift, trying to see. It's like, who can I flip? Who can I flip? Who can I flip? Who can I flip?
The answer is nobody.
Well, is it? He's flashing. He's gonna get the flip. No! That was so close.
Not even a little bit. Not even close to being close. That's for sure.
Oh, shut up, you.
Caitlyn.
Let me be excited for a Singed, all right? It's a champion I never get to cast. Ooh, good Glacial Prison there to deny. Just being like a nope. But
that is. So either one of two things happened. Either Caitlyn was freaking out and just had to panic and hope the back went through, or he was window shopping and had no clue that Singe was there and didn't have any, like, he got back to base and was just like sitting there like, oh, nothing happened, and all of us are just panicking because he nearly died.
Well, because part of that is if you're buying in the shop, you don't see it. I mean, you don't cancel that back anyway. You hope it completes. Because this is just going to kill you. Just like how Castle's going to die off here to Matayush, it's going to be yet another kill. 10th kill of the game for Matayush. Damn. That's one fed Aurelia.
That is super, super strong Aurelia at this point. Now, entire top side of the map is rather strong. There isn't a massive advantage for the Lucian. It's only sitting at about 600 gold, surprisingly, for the way that the game is gone. That everybody on top side has this big advantage, which is where they're playing around. Vivier is playing the side lane pretty well. And if they continue to play safe, and they continue to play this team fight the way that they have, Aqualix actually looks like they could be making a play to get back into it. Ooh, good slow.
Here we go. Rimu gonna see if he can chase him down. The Yomu's Ghostblade is getting him away for now, but the question is for how long? His boots are faster, my guy. That's gonna be so much damage coming out. Look at the poison burn. It's that Leandri's Torment and the Rylai's just ticking one after another. He's gonna burn so low. All that needs is one W, but instead he's just gonna get flipped. He's gonna get poisoned, and he's gonna die off.
Yeah, the poison tick was enough to actually get him. I think if the poison hadn't been on for whatever reason, obviously it's always going to be on. But that he actually might have found a way out of that. But really, really clean from the side of Rimu there to be able to chase down the Zed. And now actually rotation to the bot side, they're going to be able to punish that tower as well. They're just trying to take as much off the map as they can because, again, Aqualix have been putting up a significant fight. It hasn't been easy for side of Humber.
They're still on the wrong side of that significant gold lead.
They are.
It's at about 9,000 right now. And Rimu might as well change his name to Britney Spears at this point because he is toxic with how powerful that Singed is.
Toxic in a lot of ways. Oh, nice flash.
Ooh, good flash to get away. Body slam. Explosive Task is going to go back in. The question is, will he be able to survive out? He's getting so much damage out there. That is going to actually take out Castle, the outplay in 1v3 effectively.
Really, really nice little play there. I had that initial flash that almost got him out of the fight, but a fantastic explosive cast from Castle. To put him back into that, the Ignite was all that took down the Gragas, and it was really, really close to not being able to kill him. But good play for Matayush to be able to get that kill secured.
Now,
his team has priority now.
Zero chance of this one being stolen, guys.
This time, there's zero chance of it being stolen. But again, that last Drake, if it weren't, that would have been soul right there, and that might have been more than enough to win the game. So really, really good hero play to be able to deny that second Drake going over, and now you buy yourself even more time if you're Aqualix. They haven't looked great in the last few minutes, and this is probably going to be very bad as well.
Yeah, Rexilus, he's got a lot of match resist with that, I want to say it's the Abyssal Cowl, Infernal Mass there. The Thresh Lantern will get him away, though. And that's one thing I would like to point out is that the ornaments are starting to come out. We see the Forge Fire Cape. We see the Infernal Mask. There is the Yomu's Wraithblade and the Molten Edge. Yes, I actually know all of those names.
I knew most of them. I did not know that it was called Infernal Mask. I really didn't. I've seen it 100 times, and I still had no idea what name it was until you just called it by its name. I knew the rest.
Yeah, it's like, let's see. There's Forgefire Cape, Yomu's Wraithblade, Molten Edge, and the Obsidian Cleaver, things like that. Oh, that's going to be the Glacial Prison going out. It's not going to land on anybody. The hook coming back in onto Lucky. That's so much damage actually onto the front line of Humber. They are losing this fight pretty hard. Mori takes down Nickish, and now it's going to be a 3v5 as they are running away. But Supplies just dies after the death sentence from Fly. And this means the Baron is there, so the taking aesthetic is available, and he does have the level advantage on the castle. But trying to steal here would be insanity.
Yeah, that is correct, but sometimes you need a little bit of insanity. I'm going to wait until I describe anything else for the rest of the
There is the Vanguard's Edge available. There is the Flash and the Arctic Assault and the Stun and the Blast Cone. So there's a lot of things to work with. Can they manage to get it? They land the Stun there. Will they try and go for it? They have a ward in the pit. In too early. He's in way too early. He steals it! He stole the Baron Nashor! And this is going to be the Vanguard's Edge, probably going to go down in any second. It's not enough to get much, but they do shut down Mori at the same time. Look at the hero. Look at Aesthetic. He's going to die on his shield. He's going to flash out, but he's still going to bite the dust. It's enough. 3 members survive. I don't think any of them have the Baron, though. Actually, yes! Oh my god, the Blitzcrank has the Baron!
Oh, my goodness. Okay, fight setup perfect from the side of Aqualix. Once again, they're playing this late game very phenomenally. They played front to back that time with a 5-man Ornn ultimate. Absolutely flawless. Nothing could be done about that one. Afterwards, did the right thing, trying to find the right moment. But Aesthetic, they try to CC him to death instead of trying to go for the Baron kill themselves. And because of that, able to get the smite off and that hero Baron play. Again, only on the Blitzcrank, but it denies another resource that Aqualix could be used to get back in the game. If they get that Baron, Gold's pretty much dead even, just about with that. They don't, though. And that's the big thing.
They don't. So now this is still probably a negative Baron power play this far, and it's on the side of Humber to actually close it out. Because right now the tower lead has shrunk, the kill lead has shrunk, dragon lead has shrunk, and the gold lead has shrunk in a manner of speaking in terms of percentage. All right. So overall, it's still on the side of Humber to end. They need to get Rimu in the side lane. They need to get Matayush in the other side lane, and just have Supplies, Aesthetic, and Nickish be in the middle, like set up the perfect 1-3-1. You have the Baron to counter the fact that they'll have more members. And looking right here, they're doing it right now. They're setting up the 1-3-1. You have a Baron buff, and they are making sure that in the side lane, Rimu trying to get a tower.
That they are. They can use this tool, though, again, if they're trying to set it up. Great Sedge ult there to deny that play, but they're still going to be able to get the inhibitor at worst.
Yeah, oh, that's a good knockup onto Supplies, who just dies. Once again, the inhibitor is going to go down. Here comes Matayush, and it looks like it will be a trade of inhibitors here. They can't exactly back off in time, and are they really going to push this?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to push base for base, so it is just an inhibitor for inhibitor. Not exactly the worst trade, though. It does buy more space here for Aqualix. I don't think anything can come off on the back side of things. Zed going to be able to back as well, so it doesn't matter if the 4v4 comes through. The big part is the fight's going to be coming up soon for the Dragon. Supplies will be late to that fight, but I think he gets there in time.
He does. He's there by about 30 seconds.
Okay, good to know. But again, the push up in the mid lane now, you have Baron buff, which should be, it's going to be around for a little bit longer on the Blitzcrank. I don't know how much longer, but they certainly get priority on mid lane until those siege minions start coming in. They need to set up around this, and they need to use some of their kind of, I guess, Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap cards is what I would refer to them, with the Blitzcrank, with the Singe, to be able to generate picks, because if you play another front-to-back team fight...
become Fnatic.
He must become Fnatic. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Fly. Just a fly on the wall, getting caught in the trap. That is Nickish's hook, and that's going to be yet another kill for Matayush, his 12th of the game. And this is now going to be a very difficult setup here on the Ocean Drake. This is going to be the Ocean Soul in favor of Humber Hawks. Wait, they haven't started it yet. They're looking to get even more picks. Mori does have to leap away, and then now it's going to be started up by Supplies and Nickish.
Yeah, not comfortable taking that 50-50 or 40, 70-30, whatever it is. They don't want a chance of losing that Drake. Push everybody off with all the tools that you've got. You have Ocean Soul now. Going to be so hard to play. The one thing I do have is sustain, kind of out and about. It's going to be helpful in the team fights, but front to back, the Caitlyn's still going to smash who's ever in front of her, so it only buys a little bit of time. So we'll see whether that's the case. But again, having that Ocean Soul really big, this gold advantage is really only netted things for the side of Humber in that, I mean, like I said, they need picks in order to actually make it work. If it's a pure 5-on-5, I think Aqualix just wins any fight they have.
Yeah, but now, I was like, in that pure 5-on-5, they do need, it does need to start off with the picks, but you forget there is that Aurelia, there is the Lucian, who can be a little bit better in the straight up 5-on-5 than the Zed of Mori. So Mori has to focus on these guys, and I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen a Guardian Angel buy out of supplies or Matayush at this point because of the power it has against that Zed.
That it does. Not going to be able to get that one off. Another really important fact. I'll see if I can get this.
Yo, that was a good stun.
Oh, great hook.
Dude, that's laying at the Matayush. That's going to be a massive hook there. A massive catch. They're trying to get that mid laner. That Aurelia is dealing with so much damage, but it's not nearly enough, and that's a catch of 2. Now they're filing in. The dominoes are just filing in. Supplies take so much damage. The flash by Lucky. Don't know why he did that. Castle trying to chase down Nickish. Deals a little bit of damage, but that Blitzcrank is moderately tanky. Does have the knock up there. Now Nickish, they're trying to buy time. Look at the bottom lane. Look at Rimu. Look at that bottom lane. He's trying to push out, and that Ornn can't really do a damn thing against the Singe. So this is going to be dangerous for the side of Aqualix, because that is a massive pushing power by the side there. Oh, Mori takes so much damage, does not manage to die, and takes down supplies. But now Matayush and Aesthetic, they are so close to being up.
Oh, they're going to go for an end.
They're going to go for an end. The thing is, can they get it here? They actually can. The biggest comeback I've seen in Risen in quite some time. Aqualix upset Humber. Holy freaking crap. What a throw. What a comeback. Aqualix beat Humber Hawks.
I can't believe Aqualix, again, that early game was so bad. It played exactly like game 2, but they changed on a dime. They were able to make it happen, and to see them just completely resiliently over and over again. Doesn't matter if they lose a bear. Doesn't matter if they lose Dragon Soul. They're always continuing to fight. Find what they can get in front of them. And they waited for those mistakes. And finally, Matayush overextends in the jungle, gets punished in the pure 5-on-5. Nothing can be done. Zed chases down everybody. Castle chases down everybody. And there's nothing to respond to that inhibitor going down in the mid lane. That trade for the Singe on the bottom side ended up paying off for them in spades because they win the game off the back.
That was crazy.
That was exciting, to say the least.
That's putting it mildly.
That's very mild. Yeah, that was one of the most exciting games I've actually cast in a long time.
Like, it was crazy. That game had everything. It had epic steals. It had all the buffs. It had some base race. It had, freaking comebacks. It had massive stomps. I literally don't think that there's anything that game didn't have.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a nail biter from top of fish.
Besides the Teemo.
That would have been exciting. But game 1 and 2, again, smashes in both directions, so it's hard to make this prediction. The composition's difficult to read in game 3, and seeing that early advantage, you would have leaned towards Hummer, and it just one mistake capitalized on. Great job from Aqualix, knowing all they had to do was open themselves up for that freedom to make that final push.
Now I have a question. Who is your MVP?
Castle was a beast. All 3 games.
Okay.
All 3 games. Game 1 and 2, he played Sejuani. He was a beast on it. Was all around the map. This game also was really the comeback mechanic. He was what got Vivier in some of these fights. Did quite a bit of damage in a lot of these fights as well. Was part of that steal, of course, in that last Dragon. But really and truthfully, his pressure around the map was it kind of won them game 1, and then game 3 was what brought them back to be able to fight. And of course, if anybody in there can explain to me who on the comms was keeping them in the game, that's your MVP right there, because they won off the back of some very cool heads.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't tilt out of their minds in that kind of situation.
It's tough. It really is. Especially that Baron, because like they had such a good fight, and then they lose the Baron over to Aesthetic and Montu. The Aurelia. I'm not even trying to say the name anymore. Aesthetic stole that Baron, and at that point, I would have been tilted out of my mind, and I don't know that I would have been able to come back in that game. So again, cooler heads prevail. And if anybody on that chat wants to admit to them being the ones that kind of kept everybody together, love that. Love that.
Yeah, gotta love it there. And what a game for me to tag in for Risen.
That it is. Yeah, of all the games you could have tagged in, games 1 and 2 were exciting in their own right, but nothing like that one. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and with that, I think that's going to be it for here for us tonight at the Champions League of Recent Esports. I've been joined by Rebel Fox. Thanks for having me, guys. This is a blast of a game to cast. I'm happy I did this, even if I did interrupt asset creation. Man, this is worth it.
That it was. Hopefully,
Yeah.
everybody out there has a fantastic time in Clash tonight if you're playing.
No, I hope you all int and feed. I'm just kidding, y'all. Good luck. Don't feed, or Hyper will be mad at you, and you do not want Hyper mad at you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I've been joined by Rebel Fox. My name is Hypertension. Goodbye and good night.